Tai Lopez was just here the other day.
Did you call him out on his bankruptcies?
What would you have said to him?
Here's what I would have said.
Grant Cardone, he's legit.
Legit in what sense? I can't stand the guy. I'll tell the background. I've actually never said the background. So I know a lot of billionaires, right? And a lot of them I know, they're not geniuses. Like, it's not like, wow, I'm like overly impressed with your knowledge base. They have one thing in common. They do. They go for it where we might take a look at it, say, it's not the right deal. It's not the right opportunity. I don't know. I'm not sure. They go for it. Then if it works, and it usually works big, now they got branding, they got banks, they got other investors, and it's a snowball effect. And it just kind of goes on. But they're willing to go on the brink. And so I wanted to write a book. Like, with all due respect, most books, I don't learn anything. You read it, you kind of heard it, every test says the exact same thing. And I wanted to write a book that someone like you who's successful or a billionaire or a startup, because how I made my money at first is not how I make my money now, right? Like, I first made my first million at 24 in real estate investing. I couldn't do that today because of double closing. The average price I was buying in Chicago was 150 to 200,000. That same house is worth 600,000 10 years later. So me telling you how I made my first million, and also we didn't have social media. I remember I had a beeper because I couldn't afford a cell phone. So I had a beeper. And what's a beeper now? It's easier to raise capital now than before. You have social media. You have this medium of podcast that the only way you could promote events or things is newspaper or radio. Now social media, you're on YouTube, streaming, this and that. And so I wanted to write something first and foremost on every mistake that I've made. And so first one is this, chapter one is like psychology of fear. Most people, they'll come on here and they don't want to spend any money, right? And people look at how much things cost rather than how much things going to make them. And everyone here is going to pay for success no matter what. Okay, everyone pays. You can pay with time or you can pay with money. Now, you can, let's say you want to be pay with time. You work very hard, hopefully you get noticed, and you know what, you get invited on a stage. Or one of these days you're like, you know what, I'm going to pay to get into a mastermind. I'm going to pay to go see, to go meet Bradley, or, I'm just going to be in that room, okay? And because now I'm in that room, then I meet everybody else, and then maybe I don't pay the next time, or maybe I don't want to pay again because I got in. And there's too many people waiting to be discovered. No one's coming for you. You either live in an ocean of sameness or a lake of differentiation. So you got to do whatever it takes to get in front of those people, not to buy the friendship and the loyalty, but to actually say, you know what? When you meet me, you will know I'm real. You will know my intensity, and you will know I'm the 1% of the 1%, which is kind of my theme this year. And then I wrote all the mistakes on leadership, which, by the way, ego is a big part. You become successful, you start thinking you know it all, you start doing stupid things, and you get into the way, you start making a lot of mistakes, because that same hunger. The enemy of success is three things. Number one is comfort. People are too comfortable, right? They start making money, got a nice car, nice offices, nice lifestyle, nice vacation. Where's that hunger for greatness? Where's that, one of my favorite quote by Eric Thomas, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. And there's too many people who are taking a break in the middle. They're like, you know what? I made a couple $1 million. I'm going to take the holiday, take my family out. They take a break in the middle and they don't double down.
That's me.
Well, I mean, you're a different, you spend a lot of money, you know what I mean? Like, you should be a 9-figure guy. Right?
I'm getting there.
LightSpeed you are. But
I'm getting there. I got a double, maybe even almost triple.
I know you said that to me about something else and didn't work out. So last time you called me about a double and a triple and a sure thing, it lost money. So for the record.
Dude, it turned out to be a Ponzi scheme.
Well, but that's my point, is chapter 3 in my book is all about partnerships. And not only was all my mistakes, when you read that, you're like, I didn't do that. See, here's the thing too. We don't do people due diligence. We do deal due diligence. A great person, if the deal doesn't work out, it's okay, on to the next one. But a crappy person will ruin anything. And then there's a whole chapter about bad employees, right? Bad hirings. Then, you know what? The high cost of not being invincible. Like, listen, a lot of you that are watching the show, and I know because in the first one, a lot of people reach out, and I could tell they're amazing. Just nobody knows who you are. Like, there's a lot of people who are probably better looking than you, probably more driven than you, probably maybe even better speaker than you. But they're not here. They're not sitting on your throne because they weren't willing to make the moves. They're waiting for someone to get discovered, right? So, I overheard you before. You may be going to, Phoenix, right? Last minute trip, right? And same thing with me. This was a last minute trip. Hey, Brad, you mind if I come? You had things going on. I appreciate you move stuff for me as well. But tomorrow I'm meeting an Australian billionaire, right, who happens to be here because they've got the NRL kind of all the Australians. There's more Australians in Vegas now this weekend than any other time. And I'm coming because I'm doing an event at the Sydney Opera House. And I want him to speak. But not only want him to speak, I want him to bring James Packer, who owned Crown Casinos, his father, Kerry Packer. But the point is, even though I'm local, I'm going to be flying to the relationship. Here's the advice to everybody. I flew to Brad Lee. We could have done this on Zoom. Yeah, the studio's nice. We could have done this on Zoom, got over with. But you know what? You got to go to the relationship, right? Stop saying, hey, Brad, when you're, and either technically you have a secondary house that's like 8 minutes from my house, but I see you more in Vegas than I do 8 minutes, right? Go to the relationship, right? Go to the relationship. And at the end of the day, people are going to be, you know what? That person made an effort. And I think that's the problem. Nobody wants to put effort. And then everybody wants a shortcut, right? And then people say, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, I do agree with everything you said. So I'm going to give you an honorary. Although earlier in the green room, JT was saying that maybe we should change the show format to where when someone says some stupid shit, I drop a bomb.
I think so here's my take about you, right? And I'm just going to be honest for the purpose of this audience, is that you are far more successful than 95% of your guests. And sometimes I watch your show and I'm like, it's kind of beneath you. Like, you are elevating their brand. And you are, because then they go and say, I was with Brad Lee. Then you have guys like Bobby Castro came here, very successful. He's got more money than you, exit $1 billion company. Then a guy like Lance Bachman, who is a friend of mine now, very successful. Those types of guys have led to relationships, and they're legitimate great guys, right? 2 guys on the show. I love those episodes. And then sometimes I feel that people are just kind of want to use your brand and your credibility and your goodwill and the reputation. You've never screwed anybody. You've never taken a shortcut. You've never not paid anybody, right? And people come on here.
And by the way, for you to say that means quite a bit. Why? Because this guy,
on your show. Like, there's another podcast here in Vegas.
Yeah, but you do due diligence.
I do. For example, there's another podcast here. The guy's got 13.5 million followers. It's all bought. The whole thing is bought. So then I'm the top 3 show in podcasts on Apple. You also bought that too, because I got connections at Apple. You could see the metrics, where are people in there. People can go to Social Blade. I don't buy followers, right? Because if you lie about this, about pretending to be like, here's the thing, when Tom Brady's got 15 million followers and you got 13.5, Tom Brady's the GOAT. I've interviewed Tom Brady, right? People can go to my YouTube channel. What I don't like is then when people lie about one thing, what else they're lying about. And I've told you this, and you and I had this argument back in Clubhouse about the people who flex. Anytime everybody's flexing, like a car, a plane, a helicopter, they're trying to sell you something. I know the wealthiest people, they don't flex, they flex relationship. I flex relationships, right? You know what's going to impress some people? Hey, Brad Lee, solid guy. Right? And so you are not a user, you're actually a giver. You like to pay for everybody, you like to make everybody happy. So I feel that at this point, dropping bombs should be a show of like, a lot of it, like I'm interviewing other people that is going to make you better, that you are actually going to enjoy to interview, which then is going to get the excitement, because sometimes it can be routine just asking questions, right? But you're really into it. We're like, you know what? I'm learning, I'm become better. This is why I do my podcast, which ultimately I've used my tool, just like I did with you, my podcast to build a relationship. A lot of people listen, but I don't care. I care about the building and adding value to the relationship, right? Maybe we'll have a conversation, or a 4th one, and maybe this is the day we finally do business, but we've remained friends, right? Or business acquaintances, even though technically we've never done business. We almost did twice, but we didn't. Maybe today is the day.
What stopped it?
I don't know. It didn't, because I know that if I tell people I use your product, everybody else will. So I felt like,
and you don't want that.
I got the gringo deal. You know what I mean? I got the same deal everybody did. That's pretty much what it is, right? And also too, technically, if you actually, like in your situation, I'll do it that way, use my platform for free, get to say JT is in there as well for a certain area. And then I get to tell everybody, I have a huge community all over the world. Many of the people are perfect for your platform. Everybody would use it. Now, I wouldn't recommend anything unless I know it didn't work. Now, you were the first innovator, pioneer of this type of format of interactiveness before it even kind of happened. Now, it was also like too soon before everybody else. So that's my point. And then once in a while, I love when you have tradey people on here, because I think that's the future. I think, 5 years from now, your show might be all a bunch of tradies who exited their company 10, 15, $100 million because, nobody wants to be a tradie. They want to be a YouTube. You know how much money do you make on YouTube? So I got like followers. I think I make like $2,000 a month on YouTube. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I've got a big following, right? And the problem is people want to be the next Mr. Beast. You know what's crazy about Mr. Beast? The guy, Amazon gave him $100 million.
You
right?
almost did.
And then he lost $30 million because he gave more money. And he said on a show recently, do you know how much money he has in his bank account?
How much?
Less than $1 million. His company's worth over $1 billion. He's just raising money at a $5 billion valuation now. My point is this. I see this great office. You have 4 studios. You have different departments. You have wings in here. This is a whole complex, right? And you've had to take the money you make and continue investing in technology, into people, right? To double down, to separate yourself from the competition. You know who else did that? Jeff Bezos. Take the money, reinvest. And then there's a point, you're so far ahead of everyone, right? That they can't touch you.
Well, I'm not there yet, as you know. So
I know why.
Well, because I've made mistakes.
I know. Because you're too nice and you see the good side. Like you've had people on the show, right? And I remember I texted you one and I went back to my text. I told you the guy's a fugazi, right? Turns out Ponzi scheme, $22 million. And I know he got you too.
Who?
The guy, the bull, Evan the bull.
Oh yeah.
The Ponzi scheme, 22 million. So I think, when
wasn't a Ponzi scheme.
What? That's your second Ponzi scheme.
No, the Ponzi scheme was when the dude told me that there's lawyers and they get people that are going to get settlements and they just advance them $100,000 when they get.
But it's not a Ponzi scheme. They didn't do any of that. Ponzi scheme is they take money and they put people out.
But that's what it was.
Well,
so like my $100,000 that I gave the first time, they paid me, but they were paying me with other people's $100,000. There wasn't apparently, and I don't know the story because I'm a big boy when I invest. If I lose, I just go away and think, well, I lost. A lot of people get pissed.
But doesn't it bother you? Because it doesn't bother me. Like when someone comes to you, I can do an automated store, Amazon store, or whatever they are. First of all, here's the issue with Amazon or YouTube or Facebook.
By the way, just for the record, everybody listening, I haven't seen one time, I haven't seen anybody with an Amazon store or shipment or one of those stores actually work.
Well, maybe they did it for themselves and they made money. It's like someone who does 2 or 3 real estate deals. Now they teach real estate and make more money.
I'm talking about the ones where they say, give me $40,000 and I'll build you one.
But you know what? There was a guy named Kevin David. He was on Clubhouse as well. And he was selling these stores and everything. And then he got shut down. And then the feds took everything. And then he had to admit that he had no money. And they took all his money. And all he had is a couple million. Now, he was showing the Lamborghini, the lifestyle, all that stuff.
What do you think of bots?
I mean, it's
scams, because like someone, it looks like Brad Lee just posted on my own comments. Guys, go find whoever posted that right there that says Brad Lee.
Bomb on him.
Well, just report them, because again, it looks like I just said something about Bitcoin. We're awarding 40 Bitcoin to our community members.
I have about like 2,000 fake JT Foxx on TikTok and Instagram, and they
don't do anything. Why don't you think they can find those people?
You know what? Because they're all, I'm not saying all, many of them, you could tell where they originated, and a lot of them come from Africa. And because I try to go to the FBI and report
I know, but
them.
they shut me down because I say freaking.
I know, but here's the thing too. There's no way to getting the money. The FBI doesn't have jurisdiction in those countries, so it's like buyer beware. There are people now that are using my voice. Like they can use your voice,
I've heard that's happened.
and it sounds like they're too. And I'm like, dude, you had my cell phone number. Call me. But I thought about you, or they'll get a message of like, hello, friend. I'm like, dude, I would never message you or tell you can make 22% return. That stuff is going to land you in jail. So the scam that they do is they say, wow, you put money in, and they show you fake statements, and they're like, wow, look at you. You've like really made a lot of money. And people are like, I want out. So say, okay, in order to send out, you have to pay the taxes. So then people send another wire to pay for the taxes, and then they disappear. So they get taken advantage of. I probably had clients like 2-3 million, and it doesn't matter how many times I say, I don't sell crypto. I have a lot of it, but I don't sell it. Please. And just, I think people are naive. Everyone's looking for a get rich quick kind of shortcut. And just like this meme coins. I mean, I don't know what crypto's at today, but last few days I've been taking a bath, So, and people are freaking out. You know, the people are just.
Why would people freak out? Because it
what is that now? Because I have your YouTube channel here. Let me see what it's at here.
Yeah, it says Brad Lee. Whatever the Brad Lee comment in the YouTube feed, guys, or the Facebook feed, it's not real. Go report that dude.
Here's it. Brad's not going to give you Bitcoin. He's going to give you cash, stacks of cash.
Look, if you ever hear it from me, you're going to hear it from me on a video. I don't do giveaways and shit to get followers, even though Tai Lopez was just here the other day and he told me.
Did you call him out on his bankruptcies?
No. Well, yeah, kind of. I said, what happened?
Kinda?
I said, what happened to all that? And he quickly changed the subject.
See, that's the difference. Why don't you drop the ball? Here's what I would have said. Okay, listen, you are now selling things and talking like you've done it. You bought Radio Shack, you bought Model, you bought all these companies, right? And you went into bankruptcy. And I know because I was offered to buy some of these companies. So I have the paperwork, right? Bodybuilding, right? And so now
bodybuilding.com's out of business.
Yeah, but what happens is they had to turn it over to the investors. So I don't know what the status. I don't know what the status of the SEC investigation. So the feds don't tell you. But I know some of the investors came to me and say, JT, do you want to buy this? And so what happens is now you've rented a mansion and now you're doing the same thing you did before. And that's the problem. We live in a society now that like, how could you be teaching something when everything you did, all your investors lost money?
What would you have said to him?
I would have said, dude, what happened? Specifically, what happened? By the way, did you file bankruptcy? Right? Did you give the money back to investors? How much did you lose?
Yeah, but you already know the answers.
No, but here's the thing. Nobody knows. You didn't ask the hard question. Well, people want to know. You could have been the first one to actually say, because they come on puff shows like this, right?
What are puff?
Puff.
Oh, puff.
Like, you know, little nuggets here. Like you would want to ask the question, like, what happened? Like, did you go in there? And if he said, you know what, we made a mistake. Didn't work out, whatever. I was out of my depth league. But then you talk and you found like you're a big deal. Like my partner Adam Coffee, 2.46 billion in exits, 58 company acquisition. This is what I do. And I use my own money, right? And so I've actually put 59 million of my own money into other people and my clients and deals. Like I don't need people's money. I give money because I invest in people. So it's frustrating to me that people talk about buying and selling businesses when what they did didn't work. And you raised money from people. And by the way, this is a perfect example of a personal brand. If he wasn't branded, right? So he was really good at selling courses. Hats off. Original guy. Great. But he wasn't good at buying and selling businesses. I'll tell you, and buying brands. Like I remember when he bought Radio Shack and Pier 4 and Model and all those brands, right? Everyone said the same thing in the industry, right? Because they saw he was on CNBC. And even CNBC saying, what's the play, right? Because the play is Amazon is going to crush you, okay? And yes, you can have a customer list, but you know as well as I know, Brad, if customers don't engage 2-3 months later, they're not going to, you know, come by again. So that's kind of what happened. So you're getting crushed by Amazon. There's a reason these people went bankrupt. So I think that's the issue, is that we need to ask the hard questions. And a lot of people don't, because they don't want to deal with the confrontation, right? Now.
Well, I'm not worried about confrontation, clearly.
No. Well, no, you don't ask the question. I don't know why. Why didn't you ask him the question?
I did.
But then he skirted. Why didn't you double down on it?
Well, because again, it's like, I don't know enough about it to.
But you don't ask it. That's why you're curious to say, okay, this is what people say. Like, tell me what happened. Did it make money? Why did it lose? You know, if he came and said, you know what, I bought this and it didn't work. And what we kind of realized, you just can't compete against Amazon.
Well, why don't you get him on your show?
And they never come because nobody, like,
exactly.
Like
he won't come.
Well, yeah, because he knows I'm going to ask the hard questions and it go viral.
Yeah.
Right? Just like, for example.
But he didn't come at all. So at least I got him here.
Right. Right. You got him and you gave him a platform for people to go to his rented mansion and give him $500 to attend a party so that he could talk about buying and selling businesses. Good job. You're an enabler. You're an enabler.
Number one, I don't think he said that.
So what?
I don't think he's trying to get people to buy and sell.
The people, he gets people. Listen, you rent a mansion and then you tell people that don't buy a house. Like the only reason you're renting a mansion is that so you can sell people, like you bring them to a group and like, it just doesn't, like nobody does that. Like it's people fall for that all the time.
Well, again, your record of calling people out isn't always sterling. You call out Grant Cardone a lot.
What do you mean he's not stellar?
You call out Grant Cardone. He's legit.
Legit in what sense?
What do you mean? He's a legit dude.
Okay. Well,
you say you say he
didn't
is.
He screw you?
Well, it depends on what you mean by screw.
Oh, I see. So it's different. Here's the thing too.
Well, it depends on what you're calling screw.
So people put this in context, right? I can't stand the guy. Okay. Now,
why though? That's what.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll tell the background. I've actually never said the background. So I was on Clubhouse, and Clubhouse was an app during the pandemic where everybody was shut down. and everybody was on there. Now, I never liked the flexing. Okay, it doesn't matter who it is. I've never liked the flexing, the jets, the planes, and the cars. And I remember there was a video with him and Damon John, who I just met on Monday in Miami. And it was like, if your last $1,000, what would you with it? And he responded, buy my program. And by the way, if someone had a last $1,000, I'd say to them, keep it. I'll give it to you for free, right? And so for me, I'm interviewing him on Clubhouse because we had big rooms and big audience, and I was very nice and respectful. And then he started like putting jabs at me, little here, little this, and at one point at first, like
hold on though. You just said I was being respectful. See, that's all I'm doing.
That's not respectful.
But that's all I'm doing with Tai and people. Like, I don't know this. Like, if I knew what was happening.
Why don't you ask the question? It's out there.
I did ask the question.
But then
I said, what happened to all those businesses?
And what did he say?
He said, well, things that then he went on.
Explain to me as I'm as a businessman.
No, you wanted me to like
no, but what's the explanation? You're like, you did a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like,
yeah, that's kind of what he did. But again,
what
I was
did
being
he specifically
respectful.
Say? It's not respectful.
I don't remember, bro. You think I go home and think about what everybody said?
Ago.
Shit, dude. You think I give a shit what people are saying? Like,
maybe you should.
2 weeks from now, someone says, what did JT Foxx say? I'm going to say, I don't remember. Go watch the show.
What if somebody watched this show and invested with him and lost money because now the first time you can get away with it. The second time you knew about it, right? You knew about it. You know that.
If I knew about it, I would have asked.
You did know about it.
No, I heard some things. That's all I've heard.
Well, what things did you hear?
I've heard that he went bankrupt.
Right.
And those companies.
So, by the way, let me ask you a question. Did you go bankrupt? Yes or not? Did the investors get paid? What exactly happened in those deals? Why didn't it work out? What lesson can we learn? Now, by the way, everybody fails. Okay. And the whole premise of my book, right, is that you learn more from failures. If someone says to me, like, this didn't work out of that, and also too, retail is hard. Or, you know what? At the end of the day, the cost per lead now is so much more expensive to acquire a customer. In fashion, you may have to spend as much as $80 or $90 just to acquire a customer. And the lifetime value of the customer, if they don't buy $120 within the first few months, you're done. That would be a logical explanation, okay? I would respect that. I'd be like, lesson learned. Okay, great. But instead, it's all great. Buy farms. It's all like, so let me quote a book, this book and knowledge. Knowledge, you know what? Knowledge is nothing. Okay, it's applied knowledge. And what I'm trying to say is when you have the power of this show and you have the brand and you don't ask the tough question with something like that, then someone might be listening and might be hurt by it. Just saying. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, again, the people could say the same about you, though.
About what?
What do you mean? People question your ass just like they do Tai's. And
but here's the difference. You know where the questions went on? When you spend $59 million of your own money into people, cash, question done. Right? You want to say I'm no BS? Yes. But see who the billionaires I partner with, the people I have my events, the people that keep having and how much I care about my clients. In fact, we have one right here, right? Who will tell you my integrity is the top because you know what? All you have in this world is your name, your credibility, and your reputation. I will not take advantage of anyone. I've ever not paid anyone. And here's the thing too. To me, the most important characteristic is loyalty. You want to talk about Cardone? His poster child was Gary Brecka. Watch the interview on my YouTube about how they took advantage of Gary Brecka, who's like the nicest guy you ever meet. And by the way, it was all like behind the scenes. It's like one thing, but behind the scenes is something else. And that's the problem. And then by the way, you know how many clients I have of Cardone said to me, they take advantage or he promised. He did the same thing to you. He took advantage of you, right? And that's what he does. It's all about himself. Now, as for the investigation, SECs, FBI, all that, that's all going to sort itself out. I don't have enough, people speculate all the time. But at the end of the day, he did admit to Gary Brecka, who admitted on the show, Grant told me he was being investigated by the feds. That's what he said. So now they're in litigation. The difference is now Gary's got money and now Gary's got the thing. Now, just think about business. Let's say I have a beef with Gary and I talked to Gary. I went to his house. We sat down. Great guy. And he's your poster child, right? But you were greedy. You gave him 11%. Like you're greedy. The guy's out there and he's the guy who brought Dana White, not Grandpa Dana White. This guy named Grutman got Dana White, introduced him Gary, and then Gary's the one who got Dana White. Okay. Now people say if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't be as branded. We could make an argument that is the truth, but it doesn't mean you get to use and take advantage of people. Right?
Hold on. If who wasn't?
Like if he was used, like the fact that let's say I brand you. Okay. And then all of a sudden, you're successful, right? Well, it doesn't mean that, like I could take advantage of you because I created you, right? It just means that now we're equal, right? Maybe we weren't equal before, but now we're becoming equal. But you take a look at his event, right? And he's apparently, allegedly having trouble filling GrowthCon, selling tickets, giving free tickets to whoever's going to go. And at his events, nobody takes pictures with celebrities. When Tom Brady went to his event, right? No one got pictures with Tom. Now, my event with Tom, everybody got a picture with Tom. I insist that wherever I go, whoever I meet, I decide to bring one of my clients there so that they can experience this with you. My point is that if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for my client. And that's how I was coached. The most important thing I value is I don't care what you say, I care what you do. And I don't have 10,000 videos calling me a scam, right? Or a fraud. No, whether
but Grant does.
Right. He's got a lot of videos and stuff like that, tons of them, right? And people call it haters and attention, which you know what? It's like if people like him here on this show, okay, they're listening to this. Nothing I say is going to change anybody's mind. And I'm not here to change their mind. If you hate him, you'll be like, okay. If you're in the middle, because you're either like Brad type of person, I don't care, or I like to listen to both facts, which is this, right? Same thing with Trump. You either love Trump, hate Trump, or you're in the middle and you sway. The election was decided by the middle, right? Because people who hate Trump, no matter what they do, they're not going to change their mind. Cardone could be arrested tomorrow and his followers will say, fake news, scam, he's a victim of the system, right? That's what they're going to say.
Yeah, but
if you hate him, he gets arrested. All of a sudden, like, I always knew it.
Yeah, but right now, you just said a few seconds ago that he screwed me.
Screwed you?
Yeah, that's what you said.
Well, yeah,
but he didn't screw me.
You said that. You said that in one of your videos.
I didn't say he screwed me.
You even screwed your friend, your BFF, Albert. Right?
How did he screw Albert?
Well, Albert says this is classic Cardone 101.
Yeah, but listen, this is my point though, JT.
Yes, it is.
People, listen.
Listen.
People sometimes listen to what they want, which I agree with. In other words, if you hate Cardone, like you do, you heard me say he screwed me. I've never once said he screwed me. I felt screwed, but he didn't screw me.
I felt screwed.
He didn't. Dude, listen. Screwing somebody is doing something nefarious.
Explain. You're now defining what screwing. Okay. Yeah. Did he take advantage of you?
Again, no.
So how did you feel screwed?
Because when I kind of showed him the technology and I started helping him grow outside being a car salesman trainer. And I'm the one that freaking paid for the system to be created that made him somebody, right? We had a deal, and the deal was I get a percentage, a certain percent.
So he didn't give you the percentage?
No, he gave me a percentage for about 4 or 5 years. But for 4 or 5 years, I was helping him grow. But when it got to a certain point, he didn't want to give me the same percentage. Now, that's not screwing. That's renegotiating.
That's not renegotiating.
Sure it is.
No, if you made a term and a word, right? There's some deals that I go in. Now, it's not favorable. Like sometimes promoters come in and they say, JT, do you want to speak? Right? And if it wasn't for them, okay, I probably wouldn't be who I am today because they gave me the platform. So they say, JT, can you speak at this 400 people event in Dubai? And I'm like, or Frankfurt or London. And I'm like, I don't really want to. By the time you fly, you do everything else. It's just not worth it. But you know what? Wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am. So all of a sudden now I'm very successful. I have companies all over the world. I'm uber successful, 9-figure guy. All of a sudden now I'm too cool. That is screw. That's forget where you come from. And if you had a deal, okay, a deal that you get percentage, he did not live up to that deal. It's not a renegotiation. He screwed you and he's leveraging you.
No, screwing me
would be like, hey, I have a lease here. This would be, I have a lease here. Your lease expired. Vegas is hot. Now the landlord says, you know what? It's an extra $25,000. That's a renegotiation. Him saying that you agreed that you would get a percentage,
which I got.
Right. But then he stopped doing. That's screwing. And by the way, that's the problem with my clients. He promised Gary the world. He promises everyone and he doesn't deliver and he always changes. And that's fundamentally screwing people. Saying he's going to do nothing and do something, that's not the right thing. And by the way, that's really wrong business. Is it illegal? No. Right? But is it screwing? Absolutely. Your renegotiation is very different than someone who's not living.
That's what I thought it was.
Well, I know, but that's because you're a nice guy. And also you don't like confrontation. Like you said, I'd rather just walk away. That's who your personality is.
I have no problem with confrontation. I just like I'm a fair guy.
I'll give you an example.
I'm just fair, bro.
Listen, your buddy Albert.
Yeah, but listen, if me and you made a deal And 5 years later, I came to you and I said, hey, we made a deal, but now I want to change it. And you say, you're screwing me. I'd say, dude, I'm fucking renegotiating. Why is this screwing
No, because you gave me a word. You gave me a word because if it wasn't for me, okay, you wouldn't have built up as well. And you know what? Now you're successful because of this platform. So, and then all of a sudden, now that you're successful because of this platform, now you want to renegotiate?
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Well, again, that's why I said I felt screwed, because I do think.
By the way, in the comment, in the YouTube, has he been screwed?
Listen, I do think it was. That's why I said I feel screwed, because you're right. It's not a cool thing to do. I would tell everybody it wasn't cool of him to do. However, it wasn't screwing. Screwing is saying I'm going to do something and then not doing it. He did it, and then he got tired of doing it because it became a lot of money every month, and he wanted to renegotiate. Now, I could have said, you're screwing me. You're screwing me. But it's not, I mean, dude, if me and you made a deal and all of a sudden, like, I overestimated how freaking, much you would be doing. Like, holy shit.
Right, let me give you another.
I thought you were going to do a bunch of stuff. And so I said, hey, we got to change the deal, bro. You're not living up to your half. Now, that's not what happened to me. But at the end of the day, that wouldn't be screwing you, dude. That'd be me renegotiating.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. If the term, you can renegotiate after a deal was made. If it expires, if the deal expires, right? There was no expiration on a deal, correct? It wasn't, hey, in 5 years we'll renegotiate. It's now that I'm successful, now I'm too cool for school. And by the way, I just put it this way. Chapter 3 of my book's partnership. If he can do it to a guy like you who made it, what do you think he's going to do it to everybody else?
Well, he's definitely going to be in the leverage game.
Well, I'm going to give you another
example. He likes to have the leverage.
Your guy, Albert, right?
Albert, let's talk about Albert.
So Albert,
you're giving him all
goes
this
in
free
and says,
press.
if you buy my program, I'm going to put you on my stage if you do this. He does it, right? And then he says, no, you're not big enough. Then he does something else, and then he says no. And then he does it again at the level, and he says no. And by the way, he says he got screwed, right?
Yeah,
no,
but
the point is,
but see, you don't know the facts. The facts is Albert's full of shit. That's not what happened.
Well, then why are you speaking at his events?
What do you mean?
Well, you're in the picture for his next event there, right there in the middle.
That's another freaking question, because he asked me if I was coming down to his birthday, and I said I might. Next thing you know, I'm on a video of his freaking event. But Albert, like, I like Albert, but that's not what happened, dude. Albert came to me. Albert came to me like everybody did, and they said, "How do I get on Grant's stage?" I said, "Dude, I know Grant, and he'll not put you on his stage, so you should just start your own event." And so he started his own event.
No, but he said he gave him a lot of money.
But watch
and
it.
He promised.
No, he did not give him a lot of money. Okay. It's bullshit. He paid for fucking mentoring and coaching. It had nothing to do with getting on a stage. I know for a fact that's the case. Then, because again, he was coming to me the whole time. He didn't pay Grant to get on a stage, and then Grant didn't let him on a stage. And I did send somebody who paid Grant to be on the stage, and Grant let him on the stage. So like Grant does, like,
I heard he paid $250,000 to be on Trump's stage. Somebody said,
well, I don't know, but again, to me,
which by the way, technically that is kind of smart branding.
Yeah. But see, this is my point though. See, the rumor has it, because Albert said that you think that, when it's just not true.
But here's the thing. We're all in the same industry. So it's a small world. We all have mutual
clients. But it's not true. That's not true.
Okay. So maybe
if Albert was here right now, I'd say, Albert, you didn't pay him to be on your stage.
Call him on the phone.
Dude, this is going to get, this is why, by the way, I don't get into this shit, because it's stupid.
Well, it's not stupid.
You want me to? Hold on.
I mean,
call Albert Preciado.
If you don't want to.
Well, it's just
say that your video did ask for clarification. Act like this is not a live show.
No, I'd never do that. I'd tell him we're doing it live. But my point is I know for a fact that Albert did not pay him to get on a stage, and then he didn't do it. Okay, Albert came to me wanting to be on Grant's stage, and I knew that, and Albert was just a, pup then. And I said, Albert, listen, he's never going to put you on a stage. Start your own event, bro. You're Latino. You're freaking successful. You can share other people how you're successful. Start your own event. And he said, that's a good idea. And he went and did Driven One. He goes, will you speak there? I said, yes. He paid Grant to speak there, and he paid Elena to speak there. So it was me, him, Elena, a guy by the name of Sam Bakhtiar, Albert, who was nervous as hell, his wife that spoke there. And what was crazy is Albert put together a nice little like 500-600 group of people, mostly Latino based. And I said, killer, dude, you kicked ass. And then Driven became something
when did you find out?
They started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that put Albert on the map. And what's funny is Albert, in an interview I was listening to him the other day, told that bullshit story and then basically said, so he started his own event. He didn't mention that I freaking coached him to do it. He didn't mention me at all. So should I say he screwed me for not mentioning me? No, because I don't care.
No.
I'm the guy behind the guys.
No, there's a difference between, listen, there are things that people do. I think everyone here in the audience can relate that they did something for someone and didn't appreciate. You lend money to family, they don't pay you back, or friends, and then they ask you again. That's the definition of screwing. But sometimes we do things for people and they don't, reciprocate back. They don't show the loyalty back. That's not necessarily screwing. That's just a thing of their character. I take a look at, if someone's asking about this show, this is probably more real business talk than sitting there like, here's 3 ways to scale. I could do it all day. I've got over 70 companies and brands all over the world. And I think like there's a couple things that people get affected by is that we live in a world that it's impossible for everybody to like us. Just no matter what we do, right? Like I'm looking at this chat and this guy, Real Deal Prime, all he does is just like talking shit, right? So he is sitting there on there talking shit, right? And so now he probably is happy he's getting the attention, but he's getting the wrong attention as well. He doesn't say like, you know what, how many companies you have? How many deals have you done, right? What have you accomplished? My point to this is you've known about this story about Albert for a long time. It's not the first time you heard that story, right? About what he said about Cardone, correct?
Say that again?
This story about him saying about Cardone, you had heard this before, correct? Or was it the first time you heard about it a couple of days ago?
No, he always gives everyone credit but me, and I'm the one that told him to start
about the Cardone story about him, like Grant screwing him. Had you heard that just now, or you had heard it in the past?
Well, I've never heard him say he paid Grant to be on the stage. I heard you say he told you that.
Well, no, it's a video that he did on. It's his like most viral video.
Yeah, well, again.
So, but my point
is,
he
didn't pay Grant to be on a stage.
There's a pattern in telling people you're going to do something and not doing it. Remember on Clubhouse, it'd be like, I'm going to help promote your charity or do all this stuff. And he would never do stuff. And that's fundamentally my issue because I have a lot of clients. And by the way, after that Gary Brecka, the amount of people, right, that have come to me with stuff, it's just mind boggling. But I take a look at a guy like Gary Brecka. He's your poster boy, right? 10X.
I like Gary.
Yeah, solid guy. Like just not a bad bone in him. And they just took advantage of him and they really screwed him. And then they didn't treat him well. And now they're kind of screwed without him because now he's a big name.
I had a doctor on here yesterday that says Gary Brecka's full of shit. And he can prove it. And Gary supposedly knows it. And that's where I said, okay, I don't think he knows it.
I tell you what, this is what I do. I'm pretty much sure after knowing Gary, we talk every couple of days now. We're BFFs. We bonded through the love that we have
for Grant.
We love for the half of making people healthy. But I think you should say, hey, how would you like to come on the show and let him debate it out? And he'll do it.
I did tell the doctor I'm going to get Gary and him and Gabrielle Lyons because all these doctors, the whole point was you get this doctor says one thing, this doctor says another thing, and everybody is like
got their own. Say he's not a doctor.
And nobody ever agrees. And it's like, guys, you don't even agree. Why are we supposed to believe you?
They didn't even do that during COVID.
But he did prove to me that he showed me a video where Gary said vitamin D is the only vitamin that the body creates. And that's not true.
I know, but
I know, but that's not true.
I know. Okay. So by the way,
that's why he was saying.
Okay. So
he's saying it so you'll get a stupid test. He's not saying it because it's the truth. And I kept telling him, dude, listen, he might have said it just rambling because sometimes when you get rambling, you say things and someone catches you. And dude, I bet you Gary would say, you're right. I was wrong about that.
Yeah, he would say that.
However, if someone said, dude, do you think Gary Brecka is a scam? Gary Brecka is not a scam, dude. Gary Brecka is a good dude. But if you said, is Grant Cardone a scam? I'd say, of course he's not a scam.
Well, that's your interpretation. A lot of people have a very different interpretation based on their experiences, based on what we say.
But who do you listen to?
I listen to
I've had people tell me you're a scam, but you're on the show. Why? Well, okay. I would have said, oh, you can't be on the show. You're a scam.
What did they say? Let's play this game.
They say, number one, you claim you have all this money, but you don't. Number two,
okay, let's address that one.
Hold on. You claim you have all these businesses, but you can't name any, and none can be verified. And all you do is pay celebrities to show up to an event and then claim that you're their friend. And
so let me
and I defend you too. I'm like, listen,
but here's the thing too.
I defend people. I'm a defender.
If I have no business, how can I hire people to come to things if I don't have a business?
But why don't you just tell them what businesses you own so they can verify it?
First of all, who wants to verify? Is it someone who's going to do business with me?
Probably or not. It's probably just a hater.
But here's the thing too. I don't take the opinion of people who like make less money than me. And by the way, again, I have proven in the last 3.5 years, over 59 million cash of my money. He knows, he's in the group of people's deals. So here's the thing too. They don't know me, right?
That's my point.
But here's the point.
That's why I don't listen to shit talkers. Just because they say you're a scam don't make you a scam.
Perhaps.
I know Grant, he's not a scam. He might be a dick to some people, but he's not a scam. Grant Cardone is not a scammer.
By the way, do the feds investigate like people that...
Yes. And you're talking about the feds like they're some fucking, noble fucking entity. It's the same fucking people that are ripping you off every day.
It's another debate for another time.
Dude, all I know,
I think the government's amazing. I don't want this to be clipped in the thing where
the government is now getting amazing.
If the government wants to drop bombs on you, they're going to drop bombs on you. But here's the point.
Hey, by the way, just for the record, the government is now becoming very amazing. What do you think about Doge?
I think here's the thing. You would never get a quality guy like Elon Musk.
Ever. He's the richest man in the world.
To just get involved and do this as well. And so imagine a big Kamala Harris, right? It would have been just more of the same. And I think now that you're taking a look, everyone knew before we're wasting money, right? Now we're just knowing where we're wasting money. Drag shows in Ireland, place for this. And
by the way, JT, that's just where they say it went. They didn't send the money to fucking a drag place in Ireland. That's what they wrote down. They put it in their pockets.
Well, now you're speculating now.
I am speculation. Okay, but dude, who would say, yeah, we're going to spend 24 million for a LGBT Sesame Street?
But that is the Democratic agenda. Right.
No, dude, they were bilking the federal coffers and they were funding everything in the world, but there was no accountability. Now it seems to be some.
Well, first of all, the government's so big that's going to be impossible to find everything. I mean, take a look at all the grants, the Social Security fraud. I mean,
I'll bet you people.
How about did you take just the amount of fraud in the PPE space where people took money? I mean, it's limitless. But I think fundamentally for me, and I know Trump, I know the family, I've known him for a bit before he became president. And nobody, because I travel around the world, I do business around the world, nobody respected America. But then if someone needs defending from Russia, America comes in. If someone invaded Australia, China, America would come in. If Taiwan, and so nobody respected, everybody laughed at us. And now you're like, this is the way it is. And look at Canada, right? I was born in Canada, Canadian citizenship. And it's like, hey, listen, you're either going to pay or you're going to have a tariff. And that's the bottom line. Now, the issue is that all these tariffs in the short term is going to create a pain, okay? Because it's in essence a tax, if you really kind of put it this way. Job cuts is going to create this short-term unemployment. And people are going to be like, The difference is, unless Trump changes the Constitution, after in 3.5 years, he's out. Meaning, so he's not getting reelected.
Yeah, but then our boy JD Vance is coming right behind him.
Well, but it all depends, because if people think he did a good job, it'll remain a red state, red Congress. If not, it'll go blue, and then nothing will happen.
It'll never go blue for a long time again.
But I think the issue is no matter what
Trump saw what happened with the blue.
Yeah, no, but you know what? There's some people you listen. People are attacking Trump. They're attacking Elon right now, and no matter what they do, it's never going to change. So I think we have to let them do what the American people elected them to do. Okay. And instead of just micromanaging every point, let Trump do what he said he would do. If he wants to control Musk to have him do that, let them do. And then we can see the end product. Because if we micromanage the process instead of the end result, then all is just create that noise. Let them do stuff. Right. And also, too, I have a fundamental issue. Obviously, Ukraine is a problem, but, people lose their house or hurricane, $600, $800. We're sending billions and billions overseas.
Which, by the way, they can't account for.
Oh, that is true.
So by the way, the dude's wife bought a Bugatti. $6 million Bugatti. Now, again, is that true? Well, dude, it's the media, so I don't know that it's true, but that's the rumor. And it's like, come on, man. It's called bilking. Now, this is my point earlier. That's why I don't like hard nose people on my show. Why? Well, because, dude, I don't know it to be true. If I knew you were a scam, I'd confront you right now in front of everybody.
But you asked me the question.
I don't know, but I don't know, dude. As far as I know, you're real. You got a big ass house. I've never found you to be a scam. So if someone says JT Foxx a scam, I always go, it doesn't seem to be.
But when I ask people, okay, when someone says it's a scam or a hater, right, or whatever, first thing I said is, have you met them? No. Or I saw a YouTube video or a podcast. Okay. So, people, sometimes you may not like me, but my personality is no BS. You know exactly where you stand and I call it out. Right. And some people might not like that, which is okay.
Yeah. But sometimes you're operating on incorrect information.
There's a lot more behind the scenes that will come out, but
I ain't talking about Grant. Like I heard from Gary directly what's going on with him. And I FaceTimed Gary for like a couple hours. And then I told him I'm going to FaceTime Grant now. So I called Grant right afterwards. I said, what's going on, buddy? Just checking on you, man.
Yeah, and he said nothing is going on.
No, I said, what's going on? Just checking on you. He goes, why? I said, dude, like the shit storm. He goes, which one?
Yeah, but
I said the freaking Brecca one. He goes, oh. So in other words, when you get high enough,
there's a lot of high people that don't.
I know, but when you get high, you're true, but they're not on social media. They don't have.
Yeah, but you know what? I think when you egg it on, and all you do is listen.
The bigger you are, the bigger caliber of bullet they got to shoot.
But you know what? There's a lot of high level people. John Paul DeJoria from Patron and Paul Mitchell System, $5 billion. Nicest guy. He doesn't get shit. Billionaire John Katsimitidis.
That's because he's not online selling courses or real estate. He sells shampoo.
But that's my point, though. You bring on the hate by what you say and what you do, and also too, you have to, unfortunately, the customer. It's a small world, right? So when people are burnt, they tell a lot of people. But
what about John Legere?
I mean, John was a staple of Clubhouse.
I know, but he had Cardone right where he wanted him.
Right where he wanted.
And supposedly
he was 2 weeks away from a deposition too.
So
2 weeks away.
That would have had a discovery.
That would have been probably the thing that could have been, and that would have been videotape.
Yeah. So why didn't John keep going?
I think John didn't keep going because he looked at it as like,
call him.
Pardon me?
Call him.
I will never talk to him again.
Why? What'd he do?
Because it's a backstory, but the issue is, listen, if Brad, you come up to me and you say, listen, JT, I can get out of this with no money and settle, right? And be done with it and write some apology that they're going to write and I'm going to prove, and I'm done from the lawsuit. It's costing me $2,000 an hour in lawyer fees.
Yeah, but John has hundreds of millions, doesn't he?
I understand.
Well, that's chump change then.
Well, that is chump change. But the emotional toll of it was like, is it worth it? You all know.
It would have been worth it to me.
Correct. Well, that business is war. Let's say for me too, to protect my name and reputation, it wasn't to him.
Yeah, I would have taken it all the way.
By the way, let's say you come to me in the same situation. You say, JT, I'm going to settle. And you know what? It's not worth it. It's consuming too much of my time. I got a lot of money. I don't need this. I could be done with this. I would have respected it. But tell us
about, now that you want hard hitting questions, what about David Goggins speaking for him? What happened with that?
David Goggins speaking. So I spoke in New Zealand. I interviewed David Goggins. I spoke. There was some guy before me selling some crypto bullshit. And, the promoter made a mistake having 4 sales speakers, which should have been a no-no. Should have been no-no. And the crowd in New Zealand, like another sale, like think about it, there's like 4 selling speakers. And Goggins comes in for the last hour. I interviewed Goggins, which by the way, I got a copy of it. It was a great interview. He said it was a great interview. Then it's funny because the media reported all this and they wrote about every other speaker but me. So,
but who's reading something? Because again, I've never even heard of this.
No, so it's just like the whole event that went negative, which is the Kiwi mentality of tall poppy syndrome, right? Oh my God! Here's what I understand. Goggins got paid probably 300, 400, 500,000. Call it 500,000 US to speak, right? And you know what? That's like 900,000 Kiwi dollars. You can't sell enough tickets to cover that cost. Like, just do the math. This person doesn't understand. So you got to put some speakers that will sell something, right? and split 50-50 with the promoter. So the promoter recoups loss. The promoter ended up losing $200,000-$300,000 at that event because they couldn't recoup it. So, and by the way, backstage, I was backstage Dave Goggins before he went on stage, right? In the green room. And he goes to the promoter, he's like, hey, are you happy, man? Like, listen, you guys don't make money. You're not going to hire me. So somebody send the audience. No one is forced to buy anything, right? And I interviewed Dave Goggins. It was a great interview. And I don't know what this guy's talking about, but the media wrote about it. And it's like, oh, how shameful to do this kind of event. But it wasn't my event. I was just a speaker at one of the event.
I know, but see, Elon, what if someone's all thinking shit about you? And then they come to me and I say, yeah, I read that. Yeah, JT's a scam.
This person probably didn't buy anything. And if we brought him on there, we interviewed him one-on-one, and make no mistake, I'm pretty good at it, right? I'd be like, what do you do? How many business you own? What have you accomplished? And I would have had a lot of excuse because it's a lot easier to point the finger. Now, at this stage in the world where I am, in the business world, what I've accomplished, I can call people out because I've made it, I've done it, I've been around, I'm still around, and I add value. Even my model now where I buy and sell businesses, right? I get the owners to keep 100%. If it doesn't work out, we just walk away. It's non-dramatic. Hey, listen, I've done a lot of business.
How do you buy business? On cash flow?
Well, first of all, you buy on EBITDA. So you don't want to do a turnaround, right? So my model is very simple. And by the way, here's the thing too. Think about how many transactions I've done. Thousands of real estate deals, all my businesses. I've only been sued twice. So that kind of tells you in 10 years.
That tells me you ain't been doing enough then.
Okay, well, that's your
opinion.
Boy,
everybody gets sued all the time.
How many times have you been sued? All the time.
No, let me think.
Mr. All the time.
None of it went anywhere, so I don't remember them, but I do remember being sued a couple times, but so they never went anywhere.
But you've been in business a long time. You know why? We don't screw people, they'll get sued. Now, sometimes, of course, people will sue and it is what it is. But if you got a lot of people saying you didn't do what it is, you didn't pay me back, or
that happens all the time. But sued is like when they file. People don't file. They usually send a threatening letter.
No, a threatening letter is bullshit. I'm talking about sued, like actually lawsuits against you, class action lawsuits.
I don't think I haven't gotten big enough. By the way,
everyone can send a demand letter, right? It's like someone will sign up for your event and didn't show, and they're like, oh, something happened. I want my money back. Well, I'll say, sorry, there's no refunds. You're like, why? Because this happened. I'm like, when you go to a Taylor Swift concert and you don't show up, they don't give you back a refund. So I think fundamentally, there's a lot of people, whoever's trying to bring you down in this situation. Now, when you have like people at the top of the heavyweights going back to back, it is what it is.
Do you like refunds?
Pardon me?
Do you do refunds?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It's a case-by-case situation. Case-by-case situation.
But generally?
Generally, yeah.
Because that's my motto. Like generally, and by the way, they signed something. I'll just use one of my companies, LightSpeed.
LightSpeed.
People sign deals and it says black and white, no refunds. And they sign it. And I don't have to give a refund. But dude, in my mind, why hold someone's feet to the fire? Like, if they're that pissed at you. Because if you ask me, the shit they're going to talk is not worth it. Like, give them their damn money back.
So I'll give you an idea. So this guy says, I interrupted Goggins. So that is your opinion of my interview style. Hey, it's good enough for Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, like, and part of it too is I was on tour with Goggins in Australia right before that, 4 cities. This is the 5th time I saw the dude, okay? So I was trying to get questions and answers that were not in the book, so that people don't go there and say, man, it's the same thing in the book, which is what happened on the Australia times. People said, I like to ask questions. I'm curious. And if people are not answering the question, I'll bring it right back to where it is. So this guy disagreed. Now, David Goggins said, when I left and given stuff like that, because I told him this is going to be a very good interview. I didn't want him to sit down, because sometimes you sit down, right? And he stands up and he walks on stage. So imagine you're sitting in your little chair and he's walking around, it just looks stupid. You know what I mean? So I'm like, no chairs. I said, I'm going to ask you some questions, go back and forth, push you. We're not going to do the push-up thing because it's been overdone. I was like, man, I love that. And I goes, you know what? They had you submit questions. Can I don't ask those questions? I love it, people, when they go off the cuff. I don't want them to know about the questions, which there are people trying to control the questions. So it was all brand new.
Why, I wonder?
Because they're trying to control if there's gotcha question. But here's the problem. If I want to ask a gotcha questions, I can ask a gotcha question.
See, I've never once said, I'll do the interview, but you can't ask me. I want to be asked anything on the fly.
I don't even want to know the questions because it makes it boring. That's just me personally.
What would you ask me if we were being interviewed? Would you research?
No, because I first of all, I'm really good at interviewing. So I'm really good at asking the questions. I mean, I think sometimes you have someone who's coming here is basically selling a course on, like, let's say Amazon. Like, I might go a little bit deeper on that just to figure out like, what's the result? Give me an example of result. Give me like a little, what if it doesn't work out? Tell me somebody that's failed.
I do all that. But people bitch at me for interrupting all the time.
Well, they do that Gary V too.
I know, but the reason why is because this isn't an interview. This is a conversation.
It is.
And there's conversations that go both ways.
To be honest with you, we could delete this, never air this. And we had a great conversation with a friend. But, I look at some of the comments while I read that. And like you're pretty tough on here. You know what I mean? It'd be very different face to face. Because I'm gonna like there's 3 JTs, funny, stage, entertaining. In business, like very intimidating. Like I read body language, I know what I'm gonna say. And I have a lot of businesses like all over the world. I've got businesses in Paris and Shanghai and
like
in
what
London.
Kind?
Like I have museums all over the world. One of my businesses, we have 22 locations all around the world. Like
museums?
Yeah, museums. I won in Vegas here on the Strip.
That hold what?
Like entertainment. I own like down the Strip on the street, Paradox Museum. It's right on the Strip, right across from the MGM. You didn't know that, did you?
Well, that ain't good for you. Like, how do I not know? I've been here 30 years. What's the Paradox Museum?
Well, it's illusionary museums where you kind of come in and it messes up with your mind. Here's, listen, I'll give you half price.
I was going to say, well, see, I'd pay full price because
I know it's your type, but here's the point.
But I didn't know about it.
It's not your cup of tea. It would be your wife and your kids.
But they're my cup of tea.
Okay.
So
I'll tell you what, I'll get you some tickets. You guys go and visit.
Especially if it's for my kids. Your
kids would love it. I don't think you would like it.
So what in Paris? Like same type of shit?
Same type of things, but themed to the area that are in. And so everything is illusionary. Like nothing is what it seems. And so
have you ever asked someone to not air an episode?
No, ever. No, I've never. I don't do too many podcasts because honestly, for me, a lot of it is boring. Like you talk about the same stuff. Like we didn't, unfortunately for the audience purposes, we didn't really talk about business or anything.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we did.
We did, but it wasn't.
What do you think?
I mean, what do you think, Mark?
Yeah,
it was
we
like all over the place.
Bunch.
You know what? Because it's like we haven't talked in a while, and it's this burst of like, if we had probably gotten lunch or dinner, it just, I think because we are having conversations we had over the phone, and we now spilled it over. So technically, I'd be like, is this my best podcast?
I would say, I'll bet you it is.
I bet you it's not.
Because it's real, bro.
I know it's real, but
we're having a conversation. I haven't heard you say anything that I would go, I don't like him now.
No.
In fact, you probably got some people going, damn, this dude's actually being real.
What about the people watching? What do you think? I just tell you my personal
first of all, there's only 66 of them.
Yeah, but still.
Okay, I'd be more worried about when it drops.
Like Kibo Warrior, Real Deal over there. And then
dude, listen, I get people on here all the time talking shit about me. And it's like, I don't even listen to the haters. And here's why. You said it earlier.
You know what drives me? Like, if you guys go to
they
my
don't
video,
know me,
you know
bro.
what? I know they don't know you. But you know what drives me? Because to me, I hate losing more than I love winning. And so it builds up a thing that makes me go even more. Because when you have a lot of money, like I do, and a lot of success, right?
How much do you have?
A lot.
How much?
Very 9.
How much?
Mid 9.
So you're talking about in the 400s.
Something like that.
Now, could you prove that?
Yes.
You're going to prove it.
Do you want me to prove it after we get off? I'll prove it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just open a bank account. One.
Well, first of all, like you don't put your shit on a bank account.
You got fucking like a Charles Schwab account or something.
Yeah, but I don't have that online. That's my money broker is. I don't check that shit. But I'll show you one of them here if you want. I mean, I rarely check in. Where's this one is? How do you even check this?
Because every time someone comes to me and again, I don't press people because guess what? If you want to tell me bullshit, like that's cool because I don't really care. But when I'm doing business or something, I do a little due diligence.
I do people diligence too.
All I always say is show me $1 million. And if they say I can't show you $1 million, then I say, yeah, then you're full of shit.
Okay, here, I'm going to call here.
Because anyone that's real can show $1 million.
We're going to do this live. Okay, I'm going to call my money broker, one of them. I never put, for everybody, never put all your money into one source. All right. And I'm going to call him. Okay.
And what's he going to say?
I don't know. I'm going to say, how much money do you have with me? So I'm not even going to tell him I'm on live. That's just one guy. Pick up. We are live. Pick up. Pick up.
Hi, this is...
I call again. If you call twice, then people pick up. But yeah, I mean, I have no problem showing you. It's not an issue. But I don't like, there's not one place where, first of all, you put like, you would never put like millions and millions in one bank account. You would spread around many a bank account.
Yeah, but you'd have $1 million in an account.
Yeah, I mean. Oh, yes. Rick, quick question. I'm having a meeting with my guy, Charlie. How much approximately of my money do you have? Cash?
See,
approximately. Just give me a ballpark.
17 and a half.
Million.
17 and a half. Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thanks, Rick. Bye.
Hey, you should have said, well, can you wire it to Bradley?
But see, so
that could have been your cousin Bob.
Okay, look.
I believe you, bro. See, this is my point. I do not discount just because most people will.
Saying, but it's Rick from Samron Financial, so it's not like I didn't text him. I just did it on the spot. You know what I mean? So,
and this, by the way, is why I always tell people: listen, you can't always believe everything you hear. Like I've had people shit talking on me.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. Now I just proved it. And then are they going to come and say, oh, I was wrong? Or be like, it's made up. But here's the thing too. I don't know. It's not real. It's all made up.
Yeah, but see, this is my point. Like, it doesn't matter, dude. They don't know you.
Like, by the way, Classic Hank is probably a brokey.
Who?
Classic Hank. Like, here's the thing too. Like,
see, where are you reading these? I can't even see Classic Hank's comment.
Well, because I'm looking on my phone on my thing. I mean, listen. Like, here's the thing, prove it. And then you prove it, and then you don't. So, okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's sweating. Like, I'm not fucking sweating. Like, here's the thing. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, Brad, I showed you my house.
He's
right?
not
like,
sweating?
I'm not sweating. I'm not, like, it actually drops me. It actually motivates me. Because at the end of the day, you cannot beat a man or woman who doesn't quit. And at the end of the day, I outwork people. I'm like 24/7, 365.
Didn't you get bullied as a kid, though?
Yes, I did get bullied.
So maybe that's that thing that
and I used
drove
to stutter
you.
from the age of 8 to 24. My whole life, people said I would never make it.
Do you think that's what drove
you? Know what?
you?
Before the pandemic, everybody would say this, JT doesn't have this, right? And then when the pandemic came, when you start investing in people, right, it just kind of shut people up, right? And so I have no debt. I have no nothing. I've made really good investments. I mean, I own so many different things. I mean, I got into crypto at like, and we started mining it back in 17. I got in at like was it 3,800 or something?
Well, so, what is your take on XRP?
Here's the thing. I just like to stick to Bitcoin. I don't want to speculate. I didn't think when the feds went after them, like when the feds go after you, they usually, so it looks like they've beaten it, but now they're going to appeal. Now XRP aligned himself with Trump. So, I have no idea what's going to happen, but I don't like speculating. I just don't like guessing. I don't buy shit coins. It's just not, I don't want to sit there.
Yeah, but XRP is not a shit coin.
It was treated as that at first, right? And it was like, it started in America. So the SEC came as securities and stuff like that. And when the SEC comes, they come for you, right? And it's really hard. So it looks like, they won, but now they're appealing. And so we'll see what happens. But, the coin is going up and good for people who invested in the coin earlier and now get the benefits. I'm just not that type of guy. Like, I like sure things. Right. So right now, say we're talking buying businesses, like, one of my models, I buy the business outright. We'll get it to $4 million in EBITDA or 10. And then if it goes to 4 million, we could sell it for 32 to 36, plumbing, HVAC, roofing, marketing, health, whatever industry. We get it to 10. Right now we're growing an accounting firm to 10, right? We get to 10 million. It's about a 125 exit. So there isn't anything. That's why I cut this year a lot of my speaking. Like if it doesn't feed the interest, I don't want to do it anymore. It's the first time in my life where I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. You want to speak? No, I don't want to do it. Like I'm very selective. And I said yes to everything for 13 years. Like 13 years ago, I had negative 34,000 in my bank account. And my whole life, people said I would never make it. And so now, if you take a look at the billionaires I do business with, legit, and the people that I have, but it's not just one time, it's the conversations that I have with people. I add a lot of value to people. I'm like a value first. I like to give. And then if I ask something back, it works. If it's not, it's okay. So I'm a sort of a giver of relationships first because, and you have that similar personality.
Well, I interrupted you when you were talking about why you didn't like old Grant. Say it again.
The reason I don't like Grant Cardone because he's all about himself, and I don't like what he's done to people like Gary Brecka and a lot of my clients. He is the type of person that he'll have an event and then people charge $20,000 and they won't even get pictures with any celebrities. Like he is almost jealous. Like where's Ed Milet? Him and Ed Milet were close. Is it because Ed Milet would argue is more respected and bigger than him? I think so. Right? Is it maybe they didn't want to be around you because you you're better looking, but you kind of look the same a little bit. You got the beard, that thing, that maybe you were outshining him, and then maybe he didn't like that because you were not up his ass, because you're not that type of guy. He likes to be surrounded with people that is up his ass, right? So his clients, it's all about him. And like Gary said, buy the next thing, buy next thing. Listen, I've had some things someone can't afford it, just give it to them, or just say no. And then they'll go buy something else, which is stupid. But I'm like, I don't want that on my conscience. I believe you need to do the right thing even when people are not looking. And at the end of the day, when people do as many videos, it's not clickbait. Like there is obviously a hatred of the personality, which it is what it is, right? Just like people don't like McGregor. McGregor, watch those earlier videos of Conor McGregor. Like there's Netflix one, fighting and like the hunger. Then he got money. He got the cars, the jets, the plane. Now he's an asshole, right? And then the civil lawsuits, they're not criminal, but they're civil with the ladies and stuff like that. Brands are pulling in power. That's the same thing. He is the Conor McGregor of this. And by the way, when you go up there and you're loud enough, F you to the IRS, all that stuff, that's not attention. And I don't think Trump is going to save you. So, and because what he doesn't know is that the Trumps are very good friends. All three kids, and I know all three of them, they're all very good friends with Gary Brecka. So, that's the kind of the issue is I never would have done. I think Gary Brecka just wanted a fair shake. And you know what I would have said? If I was them, as Gary, he had 11%. At this point, Gary's a big name. Can I afford to lose Gary? And without Gary, you got nothing. You know what I said, Gary? What do you want? And then you first get what he wants and say, okay, can we settle for 40? We got you for 11. So yeah, maybe we're not making, an extra 25%, but Gary is a rare occurrence of a partnership where now I would argue he is more respected. He had a challenge, got, a few days ago, got Mark Wahlberg for free, Stephen A. They didn't pay. Gary. And Dana White, look what Dana White is saying.
Gary was the business.
He was. So when you screw the business, yeah. So now he's going to do his own thing and he's going to do very well. And I will support him. And we are going to do part 2 of our podcast and go to even more things that I know that I haven't revealed. But yeah, listen, I invited Brandon Dawson and if Cardone ever, but here's the comment. Cardone says, don't be a little bitch. Yeah. But then he blocks me. So would
you have him on a debate show?
Absolutely. He is not a very good debater. He is not a good debater. He's not quick on his feet like you and I. That's his thing.
How did he do with Jordan Belfort?
He got destroyed by Belfort, right? He got destroyed by Belfort.
What do you think of Jordan Belfort?
I've never met him. I don't know how much money he's paid back to the victims of his stuff like that. And if he hasn't paid them all back and you're out there making a lot of money and stuff like that, I'd have a problem with that. I don't know. I heard he didn't. I spoke with him a couple of events, which was kind of funny because you're in sales, right? So he selling, and we're in South Africa. We're both speaking and he's speaking, and it's time to do the close. And instead of doing the close, he's playing a video of himself doing the close while he's there on stage, right? And you know what they all say? I'm not good on stage. Sales is sales. Whether you're on stage or one-on-one or group, sales is sales. And there's the pitch, there's the pitch the why, sell the what, close the how. And there's a skill set there. And people always say, well, I'm not good at it. Well, if you say you could sell. So I have not met him personally. And I do believe in second chances, right? Lance Bachman, who went to jail, the guy who was on your show, flips roofing companies.
What did he go to jail for?
Yeah, him and his brother punched some guy out in a bar and stuff like that. So I do believe in second chances. And I do believe in his right to have a second chance. As long as the people you allegedly, defrauded are taken care of, right? And so that's the only thing. I think nobody's perfect. And, but it's a mean world. But here's the thing, if 51% of the people like you, you're president. So think about this, 49% of people who don't like you. In business, if 10% of people like you are going to be a millionaire. And I think why I wrote Business is War to back that is that I think people have made business if you look at my Instagram, not only do I have videos with Brady and all the successful people, but I do like reaction videos to what people say, which is not even correct what they say, like calling them out also, which is the funny part is you give a good piece of content, it gets okay. You go on Instagram and you call out somebody, it gets attention, right? It's the world we live in today where attention is the new currency. But I think people have made it on social media what success is. I don't like people buy followers. I don't like people who brag about their cars or planes online to sell something. Now, if you are bragging about your cars and your planes and you're not selling a course on how to do that, okay, great. You want to brag about I think fundamentally, if you go to people and say, hey, you're going to go into business and you're not going to make money for 5 years, right? Nobody would do it. But everything is make 10K a month, 90 day. And that's not what business is. Business is hard. It's the hardest thing you will ever do, but it's also going to be the most rewarding thing you'll ever do. And it's worth every sacrifice. I would do it for free. I'll tell you what business is. It's like a jungle. There are some people, they just like to take a picture in front of the jungle. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. You know what I mean? That's what they say. Then there are people who go into the jungle, and as soon as they get a little scratch, they run back out. Then there are people who go deep into the jungle, don't know where they're going, get lost, get eaten by somebody because they wouldn't get the guidance or take time to plan or coaching or whatever it is, a guide to help them. And then there are people who get out of the jungle, they're bloody, they're hurt, and they're like, you know what? I did it. I'm done. Got my exit. I got my money. Now I'm just gonna do something less stressful. And then there are people like me, bloodied, hurt, and be like, you know what? I'm going back in the jungle because I live in the jungle, right? I love the jungle. And I love the game. And business is a game for me. Never cared about money. After I made my first 7 million, 27, never cared about money.
27.
27.
How'd you make it?
Real estate investing.
See, when I was 27, I was a schlepping cars like a dipshit.
Yeah, I've never had a drink. My parents were alcoholics. They both died a couple of years ago of the very same thing that repulsed me to do the opposite. And, I've never done drugs. I've never smoked. I've never done anything. And also, too, my coach said to me one thing.
Do you look down on people who do?
No, I respect their choice to do whatever, but don't complain later on when you deprive your kids of 5 years, extra years of your life, or when you become a burden because you're very sick, or when you have cancer and your kids are looking at you like, and there's nothing they could do because often your choices could hurt others. Now, you're entitled to do whatever you want, but our actions have others. And no one's going to sit there and be like, you know what? I'm so thankful I did drugs. I mean, it was worth it, right? So people live more with the things they regret they didn't do rather than things that they did. So that's why I tell people anything that's once in a lifetime, you should do it. Because you don't get a second life. You don't really get a second chance. You can believe in the afterlife, but there's no guarantee. So that's why the most important thing is relationships.
Are you married?
No. So there's relationships and the relationship you have with people. And to me, my definition of success is not how much money. The money comes when you become very good at what you do. Like people think there's a system to success. There's no system. Okay? There is zero system to success. Skills. Take your biggest weakness, turn it to your strength, add 1 0 to your net worth. Like if you suck at sales, right? It's not going to get better because you can't close.
But that's a system.
Right? But that's not a system. Sales is not a system.
Yeah,
you may have a system of how you sell it, but sales is not a system.
I can teach people how to be successful.
Okay, but that's not a system. That's you teaching them. Everybody's different. You're trying to say
I teach them a system, though. You want to hear it? Then you can tear it apart?
Sure.
Number one, you have to figure out what success looks like for you because you got to know what you want first. But then how do you get it? Mindset, skill set, habits.
That's not a system.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
I walk them right through it.
I know, but that's like a philosophy you have. That's not a system.
Well, it works.
Okay, I'm saying
what's the system?
A system is like step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Step 4. Or
I just did. Step 1, figure out what you want.
Know,
Step
but
2, read a book.
That's your philosophy. That's not a system.
Well, it works and it's
okay,
working.
I know. I'm not discounting. I'm sorry. I know it works. That's what you do. But that's not a system. It's your philosophy. Also, too, I believe that if you're doing someone who's a right-brainer, who's like really good, but they don't nail it every time. And then you got the left brainer who's analysis by paralysis. That's different.
They won't do anything.
Pardon me?
Yeah, they don't do anything.
Well, they need to have all the information, but then the right brainer, they'll either, like sometimes I'll tell you someone pitch me and they pitch me and they crush it and everybody claps. This is what I do. Do it again. Same exact words, okay? Same exact words, nothing different. The pitch you just did. And guys that's in the audience, if you hear anything differently, raise your hand. 10 seconds in differently because they wing it, right? Preparation plus practice plus visualization equals success, right? And so people go in and you know what my secret to success is? 1, there is no secret. Number 2, I practice business. I practice sales. I practice marketing. You know, for 6 months, my coach made me practice coming up with marketing headlines that were not even my own business. So now I can write any marketing, any landing page, anything. I practice selling. How about this? My coach says, you know what? Go practice selling other businesses that are not yours. I'm like, why would I do this? It's not my business. Because if you could sell their business, right? Imagine what you could do for yours. And then people don't prepare. They just wing it, right? They don't go in. Tom Brady, right, just recently said, and when I interviewed him, and people can watch it on my YouTube, he's like, he would watch footage after footage. He said he knew the Chiefs' defense better than them. What every player was going to do, what they were going to do, and then he would compare it as well. Most people, they just show up. They'd have a big meeting. I bet you most people coming for a meeting with you, they just wing it, right? And that's what Trump would do. Like George Ross, his right-hand man of 47 years, was my coach, and then he worked for me. He was Donald Trump. He was on The Celebrity Apprentice. And he goes, people would go to a meeting with Donald Trump and be like super prepared, like the most prepared. You'd come in, send over Don, Eric, and Ivanka. Your guard goes down, and they're so smart. All three of them, they would destroy them. Because he knows how to play the game. He knows how to negotiate. He knows how to use leverage, which a lot of people don't know how to use leverage. So you have to know your strengths and your weakness. Now, here's the thing. I would never attack anybody. Like I would never attack Elon Musk. It doesn't in business or anything because he can.
But why would you?
But I'm just saying general, right? People that are bigger than you because they can crush you like a cockroach. So I don't think you don't have a system. You have a philosophy. It's the Brad Lee philosophy, and it's what works. But it's not a system. A system would be like a something that's more formulaic, right? More engineered, more structured. You're just talking about habits and this. And I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying the Brad Lee philosophy is what works. But also too, your system does not work for everyone because you have to adjust what type of person they are, what level, what are they selling?
It works for everyone that takes action though. That's the key.
Of course, but most people, they hear everyone wants to take action as long as it doesn't cost them money. Like people don't want to invest in themselves. You know,
by the way,
you know what I did in my virtual?
What?
I saw your name on your building when I came in. And I talked in the virtual. I said, you know why Brad Lee has his name on his building, right? Two things. He either negotiated in or he wanted to know that whoever he's going to have a meeting or whoever he's going to offer his product, his service, investment, they want to know this Brad Lee's building here, LightSpeed. Because when you walk in, you can't miss it, okay? That's branding. That either it got included in your lease or you paid more money for it. But either way, right? That's the first impression. When you walk in, you know you're walking into Lion's Den. Right? From coming in and seeing your conference room with the big, thick things, with the way it's structured, but also too, hey, you have a little bar over there. I'm a friendly guy, to the big ass conference room. When you walk in to your office, you're like, okay, this ain't no joke, right? And that's perception. Now that costs money, right? You could have been at WeWork. They're like, come on in. Thanks, Susie. Hold all my calls. I'm like, what are you talking about, right? Like you could have done that.
Do people do that though?
Oh yeah, they do that.
See, I don't run around going to people's offices 9 times out of 10, but that's funny. So you met people at WeWork trying to pretend?
Yeah, or Regal, but the people figure that out. I think here's the thing too.
I'm about to open an office in Nashville too.
We almost did that together.
You know where the Dover Center is?
No, where's the Dover Center?
It's where Dave Ramsey's office used to be.
Oh, back in that's up
Franklin.
north. Yeah, Franklin. Yeah, that's that big brown building.
It's white.
Oh, it's the white. So that was his office before that.
Well, the whole compound was his. I'm pretty sure he had like 100,000 square feet. I'm just getting 10. But I'm just gonna, put this like from the lobby this way. I just want my studios and an office, so when I'm there, I can do my podcast, I can make some content, and I can get out of the house because I don't like working at my house.
I'm the complete opposite. I like being like I'm on a hill overlooking everything. I like to be on my laptop because my job consists 70%.
But you don't have a bunch of kids running around screaming and freaking making messes and fighting and arguing. If they
weren't homeschooled, it'd probably be different. Would you agree? I just saying that because I travel. Last year I traveled 267 days around the world, right? So when I'm home, I'm on my laptop. I'm in my office. I like being in the back. I overlook. And here's how I divide most of my time. 70% of my time is building and monetizing relationships, okay? Which is, it takes one person, one deal, one opportunity. Now, how do you add value relationships? So let's say I'm not as big, okay, who I am. Or just this, I try to get the guy that I'm meeting tomorrow to come on your show, right? Very successful, huge in Australia. I said, hey, got a buddy, he's got one of the big podcasts in America. Would you like to come in? He's got a big podcast too. But because he's in and out and they got this rugby thing, I just have no time or else I would have done it. And next time I'm in Vegas, I love to.
Oh yeah, that's what my buddy's doing here.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. So that's what I said. I was going to do that for you because it would have been a good guess. You have a global audience and get more Australians, but it wouldn't have cost anything and I added value. So I have another guest for you who said he would do your show. My friend is a former CEO of Blockbuster and 7-Eleven. Get the whole story about Blockbuster. That's another story where people say, oh, Netflix, it's not true. The story that people out there about Netflix is not true, including, by the way, if I'm full of shit, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak called me, and it's on video. You can go to my YouTube channel. The closest thing to Steve Jobs he ever met. Now, you don't think I am, but it's a great compliment.
That's what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said. I have it on video. Been playing that stuff on loop for 8 years. But the point is,
where do people go find that?
They go to my YouTube. They can see everything. They can see
JT
Arnold,
Foxx?
Yeah, go to my YouTube, JT Foxx. It's the video. And then Arnold, but they can see all my interview with people. And the difference is, by the way, do you know why I pay every speaker?
Why?
By the way, a lot of them don't pay. They like, JT, I'll do it for free. I'm like, no, I'd rather pay. I don't care what it is. I'll give it to your foundation, which a lot of times that's what happens, right? Because when you don't pay the day of the event or the day before, they cancel. Oh, something came up or I had a gig or a movie. When you pay, there's an obligation, right? Now, if I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. I know you spoke at Lance's event and you didn't charge him, right?
Correct.
Right? Now, if there's another gig that would have come through and someone offered you $100,000, would you have gone?
Well,
to
yeah.
this $100,000 gig, or you would have called Lance and say, listen, I'm getting paid on this gig?
No, I would have said I can't because I'm doing this one.
Same way too.
Although, because when I say I'll do it, I'll do it. But I see what you're saying, and it could. I would have probably called Lance and said, "Hey, Lance, can I speak the next day?"
Okay, but let's say it's not the case.
But you know what
And
Lance
he told-
did?
but
You know
let's say-
what Lance did just a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago.
Just exit another roofing company.
No, because he first of all, I do get paid to speak, and when he asked,
By the way, Hank says I work on my laptop in my 2-bedroom apartment. It takes me 10 minutes to go from one side of the house to the other.
so what Lance?
By the way, without saying it, I do live in one of the nicest neighborhoods, gated communities in Nashville, correct?
Correct.
So see that, Hank? And by the way, Hank, show me a picture of your house. I'm going to call Hank Brokey Hank.
Why? Oh, is he the one that was talking shit?
Yeah, he's talking shit.
So
he probably loves the attention.
So Lance called me the other day and basically said, "Hey, I'm going to send you $50K." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because we didn't close any deals from that event, and he wanted to share with me the closings of the event."
What do you mean you didn't close any deal? You sold things, you didn't sell any?
I wasn't selling anything. He wanted me to come to the event, and he said, anybody that signs up with me for my thing at this event, I'm just going to give you a piece. I said, you don't have to do that. He said, no, I want to. I want to get something going with you. So he's a good dude, is my point.
He's a solid dude.
He's a solid dude. And he called me last week and he said he hasn't done one yet. He didn't say he didn't close any. They take time to trickle in. And he said he's going to send me 50 G's. I said, why? He said, well, because I haven't closed anything yet, and I didn't want you to felt like you came down here for
like
nothing.
That. He's another guy like him. And by the way, I did an interview with him, and we just hit it off and became friends. And he's another guy who knows me personally, who's a solid guy. By the way, I stayed at his house, and he's just a solid guy, and we talk a lot. And that's the type of people. But imagine he promoted you, and you didn't show. Like it's an unwow for the audience, and you're like, something came up, and then people go on your social, they're like at another event. And that's why when people don't pay, they don't appreciate. But just like saying, when people call me, like we have a different relationship, right? But a lot of people that they'll pay me. And same thing with Gary Brecka. I said, all these celebrities, is it for free? Because I do them all for free. He goes, no, they all pay. But that was the surprising thing. They all pay. And so now the funny thing is they all pay, and they're all paying 10X. But none of them want anything to do with them, and none of them want to go on his stages. And these are all people that I've had on my stages. So that's kind of the irony about that as well. And there's a reason why, there's a reason why. So, so we live in a world where authenticity is a new currency. And I would never judge anyone unless I met them. And, unless I had a conversation. Like, I'm not a big fan of Andrew Tate, but
I was going to ask you about
he just landed today in America, which I have no idea how they let him out.
Because they dropped all the charges.
No, they didn't drop the charges.
Yes, they did.
No, they did.
Yes, they did. You want me to call him?
Read the statement. They said they did not drop the charges. They're like, the charges are still there. The travel restriction. Look at all the press releases.
I'll just ask him.
All right, ask him.
He's supposed to be coming here. Not that's not why he's here, but he said he's coming on this show.
They didn't drop the charge. It's press there. They did not drop all the charges. They say they left the travel ban, but did not let charge. Now, what's interesting too is that he's got pending charges in the UK. So I'm surprised the UK government didn't step in. And
I wish they'd just leave his ass alone. He didn't do what they're saying he did. Yeah, why don't you like him?
It's not. Again, cars and stuff like that. You just like him because he likes cigars.
You just don't like flashy people.
I don't like flashy people. I think it sends a wrong message to youth that cars and houses are important. You know, by the way, it's nice to have a nice house, nice to have nice cars, but why do you have to share with everybody?
Well, because dude, I mean, when you're young and you're impressed by that, that's
my point. You're selling something. In this case, you're selling a university, right? So listen, he is innocent until proven guilty. And that's one thing I'll stand by it. Are you texting him?
No, I just chat GPT to see what it said. It says, as of February 27th, Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have been permitted to leave Romania and have arrived in Florida while a Romanian court dismissed the initial case against them due to procedural errors. The investigation into allegations of human trafficking and rape is ongoing.
I told you.
Additionally, they face legal challenges in the UK where 4 women are suing Tate for sexual violence. Therefore, the charges have not been fully dropped and legal proceedings continue in multiple jurisdictions. Again, I mean, see, that's my point.
Innocent until proven guilty. But I think
that's what I say. And if he gets found guilty for doing it,
I have the same opinion on Cardone. The things I've heard are a lot of things. I've seen evidence. Okay, I've seen things. Like I've legitimately seen things. But until somebody comes in and then puts the hammer, until then, now personality-wise, it is what it is. But I think,
well, so what if I'd have flashed all my shit? Because I don't really flash shit either.
What do you mean? If you flash your, I probably wouldn't be here.
You wouldn't be?
I might still like talk to you and stuff like that.
But did you go through all my content to make sure I didn't?
No, but I've known you for a while. Like, like once in a while you did a couple of videos in your Ferrari, your white Ferrari, but that's just not, but you're not, here's the thing too.
Black.
Your brain is, I don't give a shit. That's your brain. So like me, hate me, like you're the ultimate, I don't give a shit. So you're a bit different. But you see my point. A guy like Lance, who's a legitimate business, or Bobby Castro, right? These are legitimate business people and they're good dudes. I think those are the types of people that I attract on my show, which by the way, I have a friendship with those people. So like the people that you like and stuff, Lance, he's a great guy. We have a friendship with him. Many of the people.
I like good dudes.
Yeah, I like good dudes. I like,
But I also like Grant Cardone.
Okay. Well, how come he's not putting you on the stages anymore?
Well, because you already hit it on the head.
So by the way, is that a good friend? By the way, if you came to
I didn't say.
By the way, you know what? I had Kevin Costner.
I said I like him. I like Grant. I like Grant. I like him. But
good for you.
I see a different side of Grant than a lot of people see.
The shorter side of him.
The top of his head.
The top of his head.
No, but I mean, like Grant.
So
Grant, if he likes you,
is it the conversation of like, "Hey, Grant, how you doing? You should come back to LightSpeed and we can light up together." Yeah. We're gonna 10x it. Yeah. No,
he's still on LightSpeed.
Yeah, this is very minor.
No, it's not minor. Still fucking about, quite a bit every single month. Definitely quite a bit per year. He's never left LightSpeed. All he did was.
Did he send you a Merry Christmas?
No. I didn't say we're besties, bro. We were a lot closer before. But I realized that, hey, maybe he's a client instead of a friend. And guys, there's a difference.
You think he's got small man syndrome?
I don't know. I think he's focused on transactional. Like he's transactional. Like he's focused on. I think what he did ultimately is he traded his addiction for drugs for negotiations. He's still an addict. He's just an addict for making deals. Period.
And dangerous, by the way.
And he's all about the transaction. Like I'm the opposite. Like I would rather be your friend. Like we do talk for Christmas. We travel together and make $1 million than be just a business acquaintance and make $5 million.
You know what I like about you? You did a video that really I like was like, you said, you know what? If you're really a friend of the person, you shouldn't ask for a discount. You should actually pay him more to encourage your friend. Right. And by the way, that's solid. You know what I mean? That's solid. Right. And so.
Well, because that's what I believe.
No,
like if they're your friend, why are you trying to get them to freaking give you something cheaper? Now, again.
But you also have a caricature with the cigar. And by the way, do you know how many kids could be looking up to you? And then like, do you have to do a video with cigar every time? Like, what about young people that look up to that?
You don't follow me apparently because I haven't had a cigar in about fucking 6 months.
Well, maybe because I only see the videos in the algorithm and you're everywhere. So they just show me. So you haven't smoked in 6 months?
Well, I smoke every once in a while, but it's my content. You can scroll for like a month straight. And
was there on purpose that?
No, I started doing Zyn pouches and then stopped wanting cigars.
I'll tell you a story about, I used to drop the F-bomb a lot on stage because, Tony Robbins did it. Everybody did it. And I was with Stem and Graham, Oprah's significant other. And we spoke at the same event. And I got off on stage and he goes, JT, how many clients do you think you got because you dropped the F-bomb? I don't know, none. He goes, how many clients do you think you lost because you got the drop the F-bomb? I'm like, I don't know. Like none? He goes, there were 8 people around me that were offended and just walked out while you were speaking. But he goes, you see that kid over there? That boy's 8, 10 years old. And he's now looking at your stage, look up to you and say, you know what? It's okay to drop the F-bomb because look at this big successful person. I can do it. And he goes, when you're on stage or on a podcast here or anything, you have a responsibility to set the example. What you do in your private time, what you say in your private time, that's fine. And I never forgot that. I never used the F-bomb once by accident or whatever. And that's why I take a look at it, as I don't want anybody to think that stuff is important, right? I don't want anybody.
But do you use it in private?
Not really. Sometimes, but not really. Not like every other word. Like,
well, my motto is this: if I'm me and that offends you, then you shouldn't be around anyway.
Would you want your kids to drop the F-bomb to their teachers and or other kids' parents? And you'll be like,
no.
It's like here, it's like, don't smoke, but I smoke. Like, my point is this: privately, you can do whatever you want, but you are an example to people. People listen to this show because they look up to you, and in some way, they want to be you or the next you. So to me, it's not classy. It's not necessary. It may be who you are. But you ever see like Hollywood actors? They're one way on set, another thing backwards. So
yeah, well, that's them, not me.
Correct. But the point is, what if some kid, started doing it because you did it and you had that influence? So my point is, you're a public figure now. You're not a private citizen. You're a public figure. And as a public figure, you should have a responsibility to set the example if you want to. I just want to be the example.
Well, I do think that I should stop using the F-bomb, but it's more faith-based than worried about what people think of me. Because again, dude, if I use the F-bomb and somebody is offended by it, that's a good indication that they probably shouldn't follow me then. Why? Well, because dude, if the F-bomb offends you, number one, we're probably not going to get along because that means you're a little bit of a pussy. Number two, I say fuck sometimes. And if you can't handle it, then you probably shouldn't hit the fucking subscribe button. Yeah, now, again, the people that do hit the subscribe button and don't cuss, because I got a lot of people, faith-based people that follow me. Dude, they appreciate the freaking honesty.
Maybe they don't tell you.
Now, again, if I were trying to sell something.
Okay, it's different, yeah.
You were trying to sell something. Now, if someone said, Brad, you're selling on this stage. Well,
but you're getting paid. It's like when people say, like when Gary goes on stage, this is the worst, there's other speakers. It's like, I don't want to sell anything anymore. I don't want to sell anything. You know what I mean? This is stupid. Don't buy anything. I'm like, yeah, man, because your ass got paid. Like your ass got paid, and it's me who's selling, who's basically paying for you because these people in the audience, their tickets, they're in the hole, right? So it's kind of like,
but Gary is selling something.
Yeah, he is selling.
That's the whole thing.
But he's like,
it's part of my process. You want my process? Here, number one, guys, you guys want to be successful. You can
your philosophy.
You can
your
shoot
philosophy.
it down. They say there's a system, bro.
It's a philosophy.
Number one, get in the system. Or not in the system.
Get your system. Step number one, get my system.
Hey, you can shoot it down. You ready? Step number one, get in the position to receive commission. That's a process.
What does that mean?
You got to get a job selling something to somebody. Why? Because, dude, I don't know anybody that's successful. Nobody. And I'm talking financially, because I know financially successful people that aren't successful people. They're cheating on their wives. They're freaking miserable. They're freaking alcoholics. Nobody really likes them. Like, that ain't, to me, successful. But they're financially successful, and they're always in a position to receive commission. Name someone you know that's successful that isn't in a position to receive commission. So if you want to emulate that financial success, you have to actually get in the position to receive.
Number two.
That's it. Number two, you got to get your mindset right. There's limits and there's scarcity, and it affects us. You have to shift your perspective and get the right mindset. Number three, you have to work on the skills. What skills? Depends on what you want to do. But in my mind, sales, communication, marketing, personal branding nowadays. And then relationships. Why? Because all money comes from a relationship of some kind. And the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. Number 3, your habits. What habits are you doing? Because if you just audit your daily habits, you'll start to recognize your habits are not conducive. They're not aligned with success. So what habits are successful? Well, dude, they're all over the internet. Like, start making sure your habits are right.
Are we going to get to the advanced part anytime soon?
Advance?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
This is very basic.
The advance?
I think you're wrong.
If it's so fucking basic, then why is there only 1% of us doing them?
Well, because I think
it's not basic. It's very uncommon,
correct,
and that's
but if
the
that,
majority
if Mark
does not
here
do
says
it.
That, if Mark says the exact same thing you do,
show
he
me
wouldn't be able to close it.
Dude, show me someone unsuccessful.
So if I was selling a system, okay, let's start. So I have a system. It's called left brain, right brain. And I've come up with a step-by-step procedures on how to sell a left brainer and a right brainer. What questions to ask, what answers you should have, what follow-up.
That's more basic than anything, dude.
No, it's not. Most people have no idea about left brain, right brain. What are you talking about?
Most people don't sell anything. You got to get in the position to receive commission first.
But we're always selling, whether we're selling ourselves. A lot of times we have to sell ourselves. So you don't have to receive commission. People, when they want to come
you
on the
have
show,
to receive commission.
No, when people here, they have to sell themselves to be here, right? And the reason I'm here is because we have friendship and I'm branded, or else I'd be some other schmo.
That's a skill set.
What?
Sales.
Yeah. And I'm pretty good at it.
Well, you're just backing up my program. Yeah, it is.
It's philosophy.
The system's whatever
By the way,
I say
is it
it
a system or philosophy, everybody? No, and let me explain the difference what I mean by philosophy. Brad, do you agree that you have a different way of selling than me, let's say?
A different way?
Different way of selling. We have 2 different styles.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's probably a lot of different styles. So you have a philosophy, they call the Brad Lee philosophy, let's say, of how to sell, what do I need? I have a different approach, right? It's not a system, it's a philosophy. At the end of the day, mine is more no BS, straightforward how it is. Also, disparity of power. Who am I selling and negotiating to? So I think it's a philosophy. A system would be like, here's a step-by-step program on how to, trade online, or here's a step-by-step program on how to have an Amazon store, or here's a step-by-step how to do something. You're selling a philosophy.
Well, my friend, I'm going to have to disagree, because I can tell you exactly what a system is. It's a set of interrelated components, processes, or principles that work together to achieve a specific function.
Okay. All right. You want to play this game? We're going to play this game. We're gonna play this game. And by the way, you should start using.
Yeah, give myself a bomb.
You cannot give yourself bombs.
Yes, I can. You just got rooked.
Okay, so let's just see.
Okay,
all right, we'll do it here too.
Philosophy is a set of beliefs or methods of making decisions. So your philosophy is incorrect.
Hey, ChatGPT, are you there?
Hey there. Yes, I'm here. How's it going?
I'm doing great. I'm having a debate with my friend about the difference between a philosophy and a system. So I'm arguing that a sales philosophy is my feelings, my position, how I sell, what I say, what I don't say. He's arguing that he's got more of a sales process formula to it. And I'm trying to say, no, a formula is a step-by-step of what to do. Kind of like, I want to buy a real estate program, how to do it. I want to trade. That sales is more philosophical rather than formulaic. Is my friend Bradley right? Or am I wrong? Or am I right and is he wrong? Thank you for your help.
It sounds like you're both touching on important aspects of sales.
You didn't even explain it.
A sales
right.
philosophy is indeed about your approach, mindset, and principles, guiding how you interact with clients and make decisions. On the other hand, a sales system or process is more structured, involving specific steps or a formula to follow.
A formula?
I just fucking gave you one.
It sounds like you're leaning towards a more structured, step-by-step approach, which is definitely valuable.
I think my friend Bradley, can you agree with me that I'm correct, ChatGPT, please?
It seems like you both have valid points.
What?
A philosophy guides your overall approach and mindset, while a system provides the concrete steps to follow. Both are important in sales. It's not necessarily about being right or wrong, but about finding the right balance.
First of all, never in 1,000 years that I think one day that I can go to an AI, debate the AI. The AI is like the tiebreaker that we're both right. And that walk into the show, I had no idea what we're going to talk about. I don't even know we should air this. It's kind of like, I don't know how much of it's either going to be the greatest thing ever or the biggest train wreck in the history of train wrecks.
Well, again, it won't be a train wreck for me. Why? Because it was real, my friends. It was real.
It was real.
And I always keep it real. And here's what's real. Number one, the book sounds actually good. Business is War.
Yeah.
Where do people get the book?
You can go to Amazon and get it. And, I've had so many people say it's one of the best business, no BS book. And just because it was a side of business that nobody's ever discussed, like talk to me about the problems, talk to me about the failures. Like, how did you get screwed in a partnership? You got the wrong type of branding. Or you know what? You hired the wrong employee. Or you know what? You were too slow to scale.
You had the wrong philosophy.
No, you have a system that's not a system and you're calling it a system. But when you're branded, you can call it whatever you want and it is what it is. That's the difference. But listen, the point to everybody, whether it's a system or formula, we both have different approach. But at the end of the day, the result has to be, the client has to succeed. I have a rule of philosophy called the 3-3 rule, right? Anytime you do something, the first 3, you should do it for free. Why? Because some people are trying to look at this sales spring. How many people, let's say they want to sell a $10 million house, right? You live in a $10 million house. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. It's actually a really, a 1-bedroom, but I put like a curtain. So it's 2 because I'm broke. Would you ever list your house with a real estate agent who had never listed a $10 million house?
No.
Okay, why?
Well, because I'm looking for someone with experience.
Okay. Now, I know, and a lot of people here know, that it's the real estate agent is going to come to you and say, we have a database of international people all around the world and our database, and we've been doing it for a long time. Everybody knows. You know what sells the house? The MLS. You put the price in, people come in. That's what makes the difference, right? Now, let's say I had never sold a $10 million house, only a couple million, right? That's the objection. How many times am I pitching a $10 million house, wasting time and effort, okay? Trying to close, and I lose every time to that person who says that same pitch. So here's my approach. I go to them and say, listen, Brad, I know you have a $10 million house. And I know the other agents are going to tell you they have a database and they have this people and they know the market. At the end of the day, Brad, what's going to sell the house is the price. You've priced it that whoever you put in is going to sell, whether it's me or anybody else, okay? No brochures, no open houses, beautiful house on demand. Here's what I'm willing to do. I need you because I want to be selling $10 million house, but I need to get a house. So here's what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to waive my commission 2.5%. Now I have to give a little bit to my broker, maybe 1%, 0.5%, whatever it is. We have to pay the other side. I will work for free. I'll give you a 3-month agreement. And if you're not happy within 3 months, you cancel, no questions asked. I will work my butt off, okay? Harder than anyone, because I know, Brad, that my success is dependent on how well I sell your house. I'm not going to delegate this to my assistants, to everybody else, and not bring it. I'm going to be there every step of the way. And then you, by doing this, are going to be saving $250,000, let's say. So you can go with the other agent or go with me and save $250,000. Because once I sell your house quickly, and I will work harder than anyone's ever heard, okay? And if you don't like it, at any time you can cancel me. Put a 3-month listing, but anytime you cancel. So there's no risk. I'm not going to tie you up. But when I sell your house quickly, everyone's going to come to me because they know I sold your house. That's why I'm willing to do that. Now, where are you leaning now? Doesn't mean you want to save $250,000, right? Or you know what I mean? And go with me, or do you want to go to the other agent? You got to admit, it makes it, so I work 6 out of 10 times.
Yeah, but you're working for free, so who cares?
Yeah, but once I close a $10 million house, the next one, I don't have to do that, because when the objection is, what have you done? Yeah, that house, 31 days on the market, 10 million, we got it. The problem is this. People don't want to do things for free at first. They're like, hire me and then you will see. You have to prove yourself. Prove what you say is true. So double that one. Double. So you have to prove it. That's why I call it the 3-3 rule. First 3, give it for free. You don't need to do 3. You can do 2, 2, 2. The next 3, give it at your cost. And the next 3, you're at half price. You can build a whole empire off the results of other people. Hey, you want to be a coach? I charge, $200 an hour. I want $5,000. Okay, where are your proof? Where are your results? Well, I'm the result. Yeah, but you may be the result. But you need to prove other people that you can do it with them, because it's different. And I think it's everyone. Nobody wants to prove it. So when I go to different countries, because I'm in 56 different countries, When I go to like Qatar or Oman or, you know, Japan or China or Iceland, any of these countries I've done business with, like I'm the American, even though I'm Canadian, like I have 2 passports, but like I have to prove myself because everybody thinks, oh, this is different. Culturally is different. Marketing, what you're doing here works in any country in the world. Weight loss, any country in the world. Relationship, anything in the world. Now there may be cultural nuances on how they approach it, but it's the same. And people think, oh, because we're different ethnicity, different country, it's all the same thing. They do business in Africa. They have the same problems here as we do there. So it's the same thing. So prove it and they will buy. So stop trying to sell something without the proof. And then at the end of the day, you either live in an ocean of sameness or a lake of distinction. Having a personal brand is one of the most important things because nobody wants to do business with nobody. Like, think about this, right? They never heard of me, right? It's me versus you, right? And you're brand new and no one knows you. And you put a stock picture of like, you know, you and, you know, something on stock image about health, let's say, fitness. And I put a picture of me and Stallone and Arnold flexing. Which ad are you going to click on? Me and Arnold?
Yeah.
Right? They don't know me. And then, by the way, now once they're there, they're more likely to buy. Now, how many times have people heard, had I known about you first? Had I known about you first? Right? And so people are just kind of waiting. And unfortunately, branding costs money. And branding is not a polo. It's not a logo. It costs money. And in the chapter in my book, I talk about all the mistakes that people did. And a lot of mistakes is, had they done that, they would have, because once you lose out. Like, I remember the first time I spoke on a big stage, I told the promoter this, keep 100% of my earnings. I don't care. Or if I don't hit my number, right? Because there's a slot and they have to pay, you can keep it all. I don't want it. Keep 100% of it. They're like, why would you do that? There's 10,000 people at that event. I went there, I crushed. I've been invited ever since, made over $100 million plus. Right? Not only the people I met and the branding, but whatever it takes to get in. And most people don't want to do that. They're like, oh, I'm a good closer. I'm a good speaker. How many people call you a speaker and they want to speak at your event? Everybody thinks they're a good closer, a good speaker. What are you going to do to add value? Right? And also too, I'd help them promote whatever it is so they could show add value as opposed to give me. Everyone's give me.
Or sell tickets for them.
Yeah, or sell tickets for them. You know, or you know what? I'll buy 50 tickets. You love me?
You got good info.
Oh,
I can't wait to read the book. Where do we get it?
Amazon.
Amazon, folks. Business.
By the way, did we convert
war.
back the audience? Did we convert back the audience? Are we back?
I think so.
You think so? We converted back? What do you think? What do you think in the chat? Let's see what they say. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, maybe the whole show should have been that, but this was 2 friends talking in a different style.
Conversation.
Yeah.
You can always come back. Never second guess yourself, JT.
No, it's like you put on a show, right? And
how long are you going to be here?
What?
How long are you going to be
I
here?
leave tomorrow.
Oh, well, next time you're here. Actually, maybe I'll have you as my first guest in Nashville studios.
Oof, yes, the part 2. But you know, the interesting, for everybody else,
if you're still living, we won't. You may not even be living by then.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know why, but okay.
Well, number 1, didn't you? Number 2, shit happens.
Okay. All right. Very optimistic there. That's definitely a philosophy, not a formula.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's coming true, unfortunately, for a lot of people. Like like in the news, you keep hearing this person found dead. But
here's the thing too.
I'll bet you anything that they have something to do.
So if you take a look at the number of planes that have crashed versus how much fly every day.
And what's going on with that, you think?
I don't know. Who knows? It could be like conspiracy theories. I don't know. I mean, in Canada, by the way, I've flown many times. I'm from Toronto, right? Canada. So I've flown many times on that plane too. Like on that airline, Delta, maybe not from Minneapolis, but from Atlanta. And sometimes it's like when you land and eventually lands and you're fine. So you don't think about it. After seeing that, what happened? It probably hit and then the tail hit the ground and then it just did what it did.
Well, it was
I'm surprised everybody's
snow.
surprised.
I don't like flying in the bad weather anyway.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know. Like first of all, the snow had stopped.
Well, here's what I say, folks. Guess what? Everyone's going to die. We're all going to die.
Is that a formula or a philosophy?
That's a fact.
Oh, no, we have facts.
Yeah, we have facts.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, go ahead, chat it. No, everybody's going to die. That's the thing. And if you're going to die and you already know you are, then just enjoy life while you're here. Be kind, be generous, enjoy the ride, and build the rewards for the next place you go. And if you don't go anywhere and there's no rewards, you're still okay. But if there is a next place and you didn't do that, dude, this was a freaking little pimple on the ass for time. Like this right here will go by like this, and you'll think I was wasting.
That's what I'm saying. You don't
I was
live once, you live
worrying
every
for
single day.
nothing. I was gonna freaking do all this for
And
nothing.
The issue is that the people I take a look at, the problem with negative people is they have a problem for every solution. And he's funny, like John Sarasani, who you had here, which is a very interesting interview, by the way. He'll go online and he'll pick some of these like haters and then put them on, like, you know, call them out and then go to their profile. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to these people, which, by the way, I bet you there's not one of
it
these.
works for him.
It works, yeah. I mean, but you know, he says he's shadow banned and everything. He's a very interesting dude. It's kind of like you never know what he's going to say next. So interesting dude. I'm a Chicago guy, right? So that's where I first went there as well. And I started off in Schaumburg. So that's funny. But, you know, it's interesting the world we live into as well. But, you know, I think when people criticize other people, and I think there's a lesson to a lot of people that no matter what, I mean, look at Trump, he's still getting a lot of criticism, right? It's just like, I like, think about this. If I had been almost attempted assassination once, indicted 4 times, your family attacked almost a second time, I would have quit. Like,
Well, he had way more attempts than that one.
right, probably did. We don't know about. But the point is this: I would have quit because they're like the pain and everything, and that takes a
Especially when you're a billionaire.
yeah, because you don't need it. And also to the thing of being indicted, like the idea of maybe going to jail and everything. And by the way, like 2 years ago, nobody was, you know, now you got people who hated him. Now they love him all of a sudden, you know, so a lot of bandwagons, like, you know, they are bad. But I kind of learn, like, when people say things, they don't know you, they speculate. And, you know, when you have keyboard warriors, so everybody in any businesses, you find out, okay, what do you do? Right? What do you do? What have you done? And you realize I haven't done anything. It's so much easier to criticize other people.
That's why, dude, you shouldn't worry so much about what people say.
I know, but I love it. I love it. You know why I love it?
I think it eats at you.
No, I love it. You know why? Because where's the motivation? When you have my kind of money, my kind of success, right? What motivates you? And it's like Michael Jordan, right? Watch The Last Dance. He would pick enemies. And so you on the other side, like, I don't give a shit. I live like I gotta have that sparkle and that fire, that belly. And that's why I never stop, because the minute you stop, I'm afraid I'm gonna be too comfortable. I'm not gonna work. I'm not gonna be like, I gotta
Who cares?
No, but it's like I gotta travel to Vegas. It's like I don't need to do a lot of things that I do now, but I do it because I always say to myself, what if it could all stop?
Do you believe in more money, more problems?
No.
See, that's a rumor that's out there. More money, more problems.
You know who says that?
Someone was trying to convince me that.
People who don't have any money.
Well, someone that was trying to convince me that. I said, he had a little. I said, let me ask you a question. You got money? He goes, yeah, a little bit. I said, you got problems? He goes, well, of course I do. And I said, well, if you lost all your money, would you have more or less? And he said, I get your point. So that whole more money, more problems is bullshit. It's more money, less problems. Trust me. Go out and get some money, folks. And by the way, if you got a
money
business,
doesn't bring happiness, I'd be like, clearly you don't have any. It's the freedom to do whatever you want. Everything's expensive to live now. Like, you want a misery, fly coach to Australia in coach. And you tell me if money doesn't bring happiness rather than laying on a flatbed. I'm just saying, like 18 hours on a flight in coach, you tell me money, like, you know, doesn't bring. For me, funny enough, when I die, all my money goes to charity. So I really don't care. Because I'm not defined by how much money I make. I'm defined by how much lives and people I impact. So I get up and I say, listen, I need to be a better person today than I was yesterday. And I need to be a better person tomorrow than I was yesterday. And so to recap this podcast, like, I look at it and, you know, it was more like a phone conversation you and I have, right? And the problem is that rather than be like, I looked at this, like we did the first podcast, right? If people listen to the first podcast, like it was the first time in person, I was like super dialed in, and perhaps it was too comfortable today. Perhaps, you know what I mean? It's like maybe you shouldn't have done the YouTuber.
Listen, they got a few haters under your skin.
No,
dude.
it's not that. No, it's not that. It's just like we should have.
I think
I
it
don't
was
think we
great.
did the audience a service.
I do.
Some of it.
Well,
you know what we could have done?
Right now,
You know
no
what?
one's listening, by the way, except these live guys.
No. But we could
So
have.
you
we
want
could
me to
have
ask the live guys, throw a 1 in the chat if you guys thought it was good. Throw a 2 in the chat if you thought you just wasted 2 hours. And by the way, they only usually go an hour. So the fact that it went 2 will already
we could
tell
probably
you.
go in 4 hours. It'd be like a Joe Rogan thing.
There's a little
But
delay.
you know what we
Let's
could've
see
done?
what they say. Little delay. Ones across the board.
Is it?
Ones.
It was good? Oh, my God. Yeah, I didn't think it was good. Personally, I just think. No, I was just saying for me, like, for example.
That's how it always works, though. We
but
post something,
I
it'll
always
go
could do
viral,
better.
it doesn't, and then you post
Yeah.
one you think something's shitty,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
goes viral.
It's like an ad, right? You're like, oh my God, I just crushed this ad. And then the ad doesn't convert. And then the crappiest ad.
Ain't got none. Oh, you got your hater there.
No, you got the Jason Calacanis guy, who, by the way, completely got exposed himself as a complete douche. It's another guy here's another guy that went trolling on Clubhouse. Everybody would just attack everybody. And I have recordings that if I ever released that, because, like during Clubhouse, people were recording and sending over it to me, make women cry and do everything. And just was kind of be one of those trolls. But I think Clubhouse really exposed some people, right? To like, you would think they're who they are. And then you're like, whoa, like, like that, they're really not who they are. And then they kind of stay. And then you had some people that were great that just came out of nowhere that you're like, whoa. But I think Clubhouse, if it wasn't for Clubhouse, like there was a lot of fun times, but it got like obsessive. Like I was sometimes like 18 hours a day. Like it was very competitive. I know you just came in at night and like, hey, everybody going to start a room. Tell me what's going on, so.
I don't talk like that. I don't know why you think I
Mark,
talk like
that?
this.
Hey, it's Bradley here. Hey, let me tell you about my system. I don't do any more cigars because it's not a good example.
Well, I can tell you this, my friends. JT Foxx, you can go follow him. You can go get his book on Amazon, Business is War. He's got YouTube channel that's filled with interviews with top celebrities. And you can go
listen to my podcast too. It's a very no BS type of thing. This was like a
what's your podcast called?
1% of 1% by JT Foxx. So it's how to become the 1% of the 1% in everything you do. And by the way, that's a philosophy, not a system.
And I guarantee you guys, like again, make sure the rumor has been dispelled. This wasn't an interview. I don't interview people. I have a conversation. I let people listen to it. But dude, the 60 people that saw this isn't a podcast. That is a live.
But you know what I would have loved?
When it drops.
I would have loved that you and I would have come up with a business and say, okay, you and I, we both have no money and we're starting over. What business we are, how we would partner, right? Or you know what? We have our personal branding, but you and I start a business and actually to the audience, the idea generation, because you're good at ideas too, at coming up with ideas, that would have been better suited, because when I look back at it, there are different lessons that if I can like put it this way is that, you know what? No one should talk shit about anyone until it actually comes out. And once they're guilty, I think that's a theme that even looking about it, even if I'm right, even if you're right, it was, as you said, it was bad. We spent time talking about something that in the end was probably made me realize like probably a Brad philosophy. Who gives a shit? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And that's what made me realize after the conversation. They really made me realize, I'm like, fuck, what am I talking about fucking Cardone? I can't stand him, but it doesn't matter. Whatever. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? Or, Tai Lopez, like whatever. People want to buy, great, whatever. And I just think that was.
You want me to cut that part out?
I don't know, maybe. Not because I'm not afraid of that. I just said, you know what? No, but the example of that is that we got caught into with Albert, he said, she said. And I think the lesson that I learned in all of that is that whether it's true or not, it's a waste of time, right? And that's a waste of time. And we could have been talking about other things. So that's why I'm sort of looking at it.
You're saying
I did it.
You're saying we could have given more value.
We could have given more value. And people got more value, but they've been more entertained, right? By the way, that was not a dropping bombs. That was fucking a nugget mix, right? So that's what I'm just saying. Like, listen, if this was pure entertainment and we have a daily show, this score is big. Okay, hey, let's talk about this issue today.
Well, here's what I say, folks. Since it's my show and you should be here to hear what I say any damn way. Here's what I say. Okay. I say, I said it. Okay. I said it. And if that offends ya, hit the old unsubscribe or keep scrolling. Now, again, do I want to offend people? No, but dude, listen. I'm not going to apologize for saying shit. And yeah, I do agree. We could have strategically given more value.
Yeah, that's all.
But-
That's my thing. It's not about that. It's just
but
like
we gave
wasted-
entertainment
We
value.
gave entertainment. Listen, for entertainment purposes, you know.
And not only that, dude, I believe we talked about some good, solid
We did.
principles.
We did.
And I gave my success.
You know what
steps.
it is? Like, here's the first
system.
30 minutes was a train wreck of mishmash of this, and then we got into a groove.
Dude, I got a philosophy system. Folks, go get his book. Appreciate you guys.
Follow me on Instagram.
Appreciate
Tell me
you.
what you think. Send me a message on Instagram. I check out my own message. Very curious to see what you think. And just remember, keep dropping the bombs. We'll see you next time. Bradley here. Check it out.